What is cracking? This is Critical Mess. It is episode Triple Deuce. It's the podcast where three dudes in the ad business rap about movies that critics and audiences don't agree on. I am Nick Honeywell. I'm here with Gris Griswold. Brian McCullough. Producer Ben is in the house. Say what's up.
What's going on, gang?
Hey, looking forward to talking about Gilbert Gottfried's performance in Uncut Gems tonight.
Aren't we all? All right, let's break the ice here. We got two icebreakers tonight. The first one, I hope we get into a little bit on this first one.
Yeah,
so we'll see. But here it comes. What is the most overrated Quentin Tarantino movie?
Reservoir Dogs. It's just my least favorite of his movies, and that includes Jackie Brown, but I've not seen Death Proof. Did he direct that?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a big glaring hole in my filmography there. But yeah, I just feel like Reservoir Dogs kind of had, it was good. It was a good movie, but it's always almost every movie YouTube channel I watch and they're talking about filmmaking techniques, they always reference Reservoir Dogs as sort of this sterling classic that like kind of reinvented this and that and this and that. And yeah, sure, I agree with all that, but it's just I would much rather talk about a lot of his other films.
Nice. I got to go with the very hyped up Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. I just think those are outrageously overrated. But
do you like them?
No, I don't.
So you don't like them and you think they're overrated?
Yeah, I'm just not a fan at all.
What don't you like about them?
I don't know. Nothing about it just seemed realistic, or not realistic, but just classic Tarantino. It seemed like he just wanted to throw like a over the top ninja movie in, and it had no character built, nothing. It just didn't feel like anything to me. I remember seeing that a couple times now.
I mean, Tarantino does Kung Fu, you know? It's like every time, when Tarantino does a Western, it's over the top. When Tarantino does...
That one just felt extreme. Maybe it was for the time. I don't know, because a lot of things were over the top, and the CG was like, I don't know, it just felt just way overdone. And
well, I'm surprised a certain movie hasn't been named yet. I feel like Nick might name it.
Nick's not going to name it because Nick's going to go with Gris on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I also didn't really love the Kill Bill movies that much. And I also just felt that it just wasn't there. I don't know. It is kind of hard to explain. I guess one thing for me is that Uma Thurman, I didn't really buy it. Mm-hmm. I think that's a little bit of I know a lot of people really liked her in that role.
I loved her in it.
Yeah, I know that's kind of a hot take, but I don't know. And I like Uma Thurman, actually. Mm-hmm. I actually like her in a lot of stuff, but I didn't really love her in those movies. And also, maybe just like David Carradine is just a little much. I don't know. I don't like him.
Everyone's a caricature in that movie, and just the whip pans and crash zooms and everything. It's so like retro, 70s martial arts stuff. And I just ate it up, man. Everything. Yeah,
let's not get it twisted. It's still pretty good. Yeah. we're talking about Tarantino movies,
right? But so of the three of us, Gris, you'd say you did not like them.
Did not. Yeah.
Okay. I'm really surprised no one said Pulp Fiction. Ben, did you have an answer?
That was mine.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay. I thought
we got it in there. We got it in there.
I've tried to watch it so many times, and every time I'm just like, this is just not as good as the rest of his movies. Mm-hmm. I'd rather watch Django Unchained or Inglourious Bastards or I'd rather watch those movies of his than that one.
I guess my thought there is like, it's tough because when you're talking about a Tarantino movie, you're almost only, like at least me, I'm almost only comparing them to his other movies because all of his movies are so far beyond what most movies are that you're almost unfairly comparing them only to each other. And so right there, when you're talking about, you just dropped like some of the best movies ever named. Matter of fact, one of the movies you just said is Critical Mess's #1 movie of all time on our combined weighted top 100 lists, which we've not talked about yet.
Yeah.
But anyway,
do you want to go into that?
Little spoiler there for you. I don't know. I don't want to hijack. I know we're already going too long on this icebreaker, but
yeah. Well, I think we got to touch on it. We will for a second. I think we'll go into this more in a different episode. But yeah, we did compile our top 100 lists, and we kind of looked to see, and we got an overall Critical Mess top 100. But it's pretty interesting that plays into tonight's episode because the movie on tonight's episode is actually part of our overall top 100, believe it or not. It's on two people's top 100 lists.
Yep, and it's our combined number 64 best movie of all time. And what that is, just a quick explanation, is we took, all four of us submitted our top 100 movies, and then I put it through an algorithm that weighted all the movies and gave them a score, and then it compiled our top 100 combined weighted movies of all time. So it is the Critical Mess's official top 100 movies of all time. The movie tonight is number 64, and I wonder what the rest of them are. We'll find out.
Should we do an episode on that?
We might.
We might.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We got another icebreaker, believe it or not.
This will be quick.
Yeah, this will be a quick one, but I just wanted to throw this one out there. What's a movie with a really shitty ending? Maybe the worst ending that you've ever seen. And I will start this one.
Please.
A movie I was actually really hyped for that didn't deliver, by actually Brian's favorite director, if you guys don't know, Oliver Stone.
Oh, God.
2012's Savages. Boy, did this movie have a really awful ending. So basically, I'll just quickly explain what happens in the end. So the protagonists kind of, I believe, just die in like a grisly gunfight or something. It's been a long time since I've seen it. They die. And then basically the movie is like, or that's what you thought happened. And then it does like a rewind. It's like, brrr, and then like the people don't die and they're like fine. And then the movie ends. It's very strange. It's very bad.
So they did both the alternate and regular ending just together as one ending?
Yeah, they did.
Why?
And it's just as bad as it's worse than I'm even describing. It's almost worth watching just to see how bad they fucked up this ending.
Was that a studio note or was that an Oliver Stone
So I
thing?
I actually read that like this was a test audiences hated the ending with the protagonist dying so much. And that's when you just tell test audiences to go fuck themselves.
Well, either
and
go
stick with your integrity.
Either go fuck themselves or completely change the ending. Don't do both.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, really a very mediocre movie that I thought was going to be pretty good. Very average, horrible ending.
Well, I just want to, for the record, state that Oliver Stone is not my favorite director. Just
Oh, did I get that wrong?
Just in case anybody
sorry about
would have
that.
thought that the director of the trash that is Natural Born Killers could possibly
cut all that out so everybody still believes that Brian is
I'm
cutting all
I'm going to
this.
say it every 5 minutes, just on the dot. Oliver Stone's not my favorite.
He's gonna go to Brian's corner.
Yeah. You guys can't escape it because I'm going to mention it in the corner. I'm going to go a little bit meta on you here, Nick, because I had trouble coming up with an ending that completely ruined a movie for me. Haven't seen Savages, but it sounds like that would probably be one of them. But I'm going to say, and I don't know if this is a cheaty answer, but guys, okay, original Star Wars, untouched by George Lucas, great trilogy. Why did he get his hands on it? We all know where I'm going. Shit, we need to start the movie. Boom. Okay. All right, let's restart the podcast. All right, Nick, bring us to the top of the show. Just kidding. Into the Return of the Jedi, when you have Obi-Wan or Anakin. So you have Obi-Wan and Yoda there in Force projection mode, and then you have Anakin Skywalker show up, and he fucking changed it to young Hayden Christensen, which doesn't even make any sense because that's before Darth Vader even started his arc. And like, why even do that? Why go through the effort of that? Man, you guys, that just ruined the movie for me.
Yeah,
That's a great call.
I can buy that.
I can buy that. Mine's pretty recent, and I think I've discussed it before, but Barbarian. I loved 98% of that movie. And something about the end. Like,
I didn't like the ending to that either.
It just like...
I liked it, guys.
I'm
just
the very
I'm with
end.
Nick on that.
I didn't love. I didn't like the very end.
It was just so rough, like visually, like tonal. Like it just felt completely different to the rest of the movie, and it just took me right out of it. And I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And I was just so pissed by the end. I forgot how good the rest of the film was.
You're talking about like the stuff at the top of that, like that water tower or that structure.
Yeah, the water tower shit, and they fall off.
Okay.
They did the slow mo, the shitty CG. It seemed like it was just like night, and they had to pull it off, and it just looked awful. And then the rest of the movie, there were creative shots. There were the tension building, the character, like everything about it. You're like, oh, the mystery, and then like the set and the makeup and all that stuff. And then they just fucking ruined it all with a CG fuck fest. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I see the problem with the CG on that. But I have to say, ultimately that movie really is kind of a dark comedy. Kind of.
Absolutely.
And I like how it ended on a comedic note. Like that did it for me.
I wish they just
don't
left
know.
it all practical and just did like threw them off, but it just looks
I get that complaint on
weird.
that. I do.
Yeah.
I might revisit it. Yeah.
All right. Tonight, we are talking about a film from the year of our Lord 2019. It is called Uncut Gems.
How you doing, Holly? How's it going? How's Howard?
Good Pesach out.
All right, Larry, you're a Jew again. Welcome back.
I made a crazy risk, a gamble, and it's about to pay off.
So I want the Celtics to cover. I want the Celtics halftime. I want Garnett points and rebounds.
What do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. That's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
This movie, about 19 mil. About 19 mil is what this cost, which actually seems kind of inexpensive, I think. But maybe we'll talk about that some more. It took down 50 mil.
It all went to KG and
Right, yeah. I feel like you had some people to pay in this movie. But yeah, it took down 50 mil worldwide. So this one did okay. Not a major hit, but made some people some money probably.
I think it's A24's like third highest grossing movie.
Yeah. So yeah, it did decent. So this movie was directed by the Safdie brothers. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Safdie.
I think it's Safdie.
Safdie. Sorry, Safdie brothers. Josh and Benny. These guys are pretty young. Like these guys are like late 30s. And they don't. So you wouldn't be too surprised. They don't have a ton of director credits under their belt yet. They did 2017. They did Good Time with
Great
Robert
movie.
Pattinson.
Great movie.
Yeah, if you guys have seen that. Those are this and or that and Uncut Gems are kind of their two big ones. They haven't made a movie since Uncut Gems, but they've been doing some TV stuff and they've done a lot of short films. So
and acting and stuff too. Like I know
they're
Benny was in
around.
Oppenheimer and stuff. So
yeah. This movie written by Ronald Bronstein and it stars Billy Madison. Damn it, I fucked that up. Gosh darn it, first fucking joke. Fucking starring Billy Madison. LaKeith Stanfield, Julie Fox, Kevin Garnett, The Weeknd, Idina Menzel. So kind of an interesting cast on this one. Kind of a cast with some people that are playing themselves, which
And
is
Julia Fox, played by Julia. Oh, no, Julia did something or other, played by Julia Fox. Her first movie.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! I did not realize
and
that.
And she busted out this performance.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
she did
Holy
amazing.
smoke! I did not know that. That's awesome.
Amazing.
And the guy, also this is kind of interesting. I'm gonna forget his name, but that I think his name was Yussi. That guy from the beginning.
Yeah.
That was kind of his right hand man that he sort of fires. That guy is like a real New York City jeweler.
Yeah,
I was gonna
we'll
say-
get into that.
I felt like most of these people were just real dudes.
Yeah, which actually added a lot. But we're gonna talk.
Totally.
About
yeah, we'll
that.
talk about that.
Oh
later.
man,
I got yes.
the
yeah.
watches.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk watches. Oh yes, there will be time for that. Quick refresher about the criteria for the movies we talk about. So movies got to be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics or vice versa. And the disparity needs to be at least 20% or so on Rotten Tomatoes. So this movie is an absolutely stellar 91% with critics and a pretty fucking disappointing 52% with audiences. I must say, shame on audiences for this movie. So almost 40% here. So a healthy gapper.
And I'll call out top critics, which we're going to talk about what a top critic is in Brian's Corner. But if you sort this by top critics, it's a 94%.
Oh wow.
So crazy high.
We will be spoiling this movie. Just throwing that out there. And we also recommend that you watch this movie before you listen to us here. It will might help you follow along a little bit as we talk about this fine film. So let's get into this, guys. When was the first time we saw this movie? How many times have we seen it?
I saw it back in, what was it, 2019 when it came out?
Yep.
And just, again, 3 days ago. Twice.
Definitely saw this when it came out. And then again, obviously last week.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, same.
Same. What, you guys weren't rewatching this movie like every single week? From now
It's not one of those.
As discussed in the last episode, this is one of those movies that I just have a hard time going to rewatch. It's
Well, it
just,
gave Nick a headache that, like,
Yeah, it literally did give me a headache that like lasted until today, and I was willing to pay that price to watch this movie. So this is Critical Mess, and we do have a sponsor as usual. We're sponsored by Old Elk. We're always sponsored by Old Elk. Is it the straight bourbon tonight?
We're rocking the blended straight bourbon whiskey.
Blended straight bourbon. It's flying off the shelves, guys. It's hard to find in our area. Don't know about your area, but we've been pumping the product, and I must say, you can't find it anywhere.
And
So
I gotta say, this bottle, the sip I just took, was better than 2 weeks ago. I don't know how they do it.
it's crazy how that works.
Just keeps getting better.
Well, the thing is,
getting
guys,
better.
it's ambrosial.
It's ambrosial.
That's what we call it. It's an ambrosial product.
I'm gonna look that word up later. One of these days.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
It's really good.
And yeah, it's really good, and we're thankful to have it. We're also sponsored by Penelope Whiskey.
Penelope whiskey.
Extra strength. Is that what that says?
Private Select.
Yeah.
Barrel strength.
Barrel
9
strength.
years.
Yeah,
Age
9 years. So
I brought it because of last week.
yeah.
I was
Well,
like,
and the Vanilla Sky episode, right?
yeah,
Sure.
So
So
I just wanted to hear
I love
Nick
it.
say Penelope 4 or 5 more times of this episode.
Yes, Penelope, welcome. We'll see if you're as ambrosial as Old Elk, but yeah, that's a high bar.
I mean,
That's a high bar.
Penelope has the edge on the inside joke, but
It does?
We respect Old Elk enough not to mispronounce its name, so that says a lot.
Elk, Bruce Banner of Deers, right?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we, that's
We
what
also
we
got
call
the
it.
Modelo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've got some Modelo
Yeah.
too.
Modede?
Yeah,
That's
Modede.
that's what you're hearing.
Modelo.
That's
I mean,
what
but
the-
we basically, I mean, that's just kind of like shouting out to water.
Yeah.
You know, It's just like,
But we got to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
We drink as much Old Elk as we do.
We should clarify. You're right, Ben. We're not, as you can normally hear us cracking open cans during the recording. We're not cracking open cans of Old Elk.
True.
So
is true.
just a little peek behind the
We
curtain.
got to shout them out because they shouted us out on their Instagram.
True. Much
did they?
appreciated.
Yeah.
They reposted one of our
Modelo, I love
photos.
you. I love you, Modelo.
Modelo, thank you for keeping us hydrated. We love you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Critical Mess. We are talking about Uncut Gems, and we're gonna rate this movie. I have a feeling about our ratings, but I don't know. Let's see. Someone pop it off. Let's go.
I'm curious. I'm just curious as to who has rated this the highest.
Yeah.
And are we gonna get any exacts? Are we gonna get an exact?
Ooh,
we're
yeah.
in exact territory.
Remember, our rules are we finish a drink if we're on the exact. So
All right. So usually the three of us give our ratings. I definitely want to hear Ben's rating on this because I know what it is. But Ben, before you say that, I want you to guess between the three of us. Just who do you think has the highest rating between the three of us?
I think Brian does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a poker face, do I?
Well, no, I know your style of movie, and I feel like you appreciate a lot of the style of this movie, and also a lot of the themes and the anxiety of the even the music builds and everything. I think you appreciate this movie.
Ben,
a lot.
you know me so well.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I'll go last then. How about that?
good call. Go ahead, Nick.
91.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
baby.
okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
It's a really good fucking movie.
Yeah.
Man, as you said, Gris, not one I want to watch all the time, but wow, I have a lot of good things to say about this movie, and I will.
It's great. I'm going to go 88. So not quite as high as you, but I still really, really enjoyed this film.
88, huh?
Yep.
That's high. I'm checking our records here to see. Ooh,
The highest rated?
You have an 87.
Ooh, is that the highest?
You have an 85,
Or is this one of the highest we've rated?
and you
This might
have
be.
you have another 88. So you have tied. And you have an 83. You have two other 88s. This is your third 88.
Third 88?
Third
Wow.
88.
Wow.
Damn. I was wondering how
Yeah.
that
He's
stacked up.
over there in the DeLorean.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely hit 88 miles an
Going
hour.
to the future, guys. This is fucking 96 on this
Yeah,
movie.
Nice.
I was right.
This
Called
is,
it.
This is not in my top 100, but it's just outside of
Shockingly.
it.
Wow. That's amazing.
This is a 4.5 out of 5 on my Letterboxd. It's very, very, very rare that I rate something a 5. I feel like if this movie was more rewatchable, that would just put it over the edge. It's not a perfect movie, but it's as close to a perfect movie as you can get. And I have trouble knocking off any points of this movie, but it just doesn't strike me as perfect. So 96, and that's by far my highest. I think my second highest would be a 91, which
That's
was
huge.
Yeah.
Huge score.
Wow, we loved it.
Yeah, that's a great.
Now, Ben, we don't normally, but I know this is in your top 10.
Yeah.
and maybe
Yeah.
that's all you
Ben
need to say about
loves
This is a
movie.
98 for me.
98.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, I'm in good company.
Banger.
Wow.
This could not be more up my alley than any other movie. I mean, it is everything about it. I love Adam Sandler's performance. The fact that he didn't get nominated for an Oscar is incredible.
He didn't even get nominated.
That
No,
is
not even
unbelievable
nominated.
horseshit.
What?
Yeah,
I had to go
it's
back
horseshit.
and look and confirm, but yeah.
It is ridiculous. He is incredible in this movie. It's well directed. It's paced well. It's incredible. Like that they got an acting credit out of Katie, like Kevin Garnett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like it's just so good. Yeah.
Wow.
So we agree on this movie, but critics and audiences do not, because audiences, honestly, guys, I'm usually on the I feel like the audience side, right? I'm more audience, And
I'm definitely more audience.
You
Yeah,
can
you are-
see where you can see where they're coming from.
Yeah,
Usually.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
with them. You're
Yeah,
with the
and-
masses.
Yeah. And boy, what a whiff on this one.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't even know what to say. I'm shocked that their score is this low, and I want to talk about why is there this gap. And I'm going to start with the obvious one, and then let you guys run with this. But guys, Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
People expect him to be fucking Happy Gilmore and talking like a baby and singing goofy songs. And when they see him in a role like this, they just can't process it.
Yeah.
So I think it's that simple for a lot
Agree.
of this.
I think it's as simple as that. I think how many serious roles has he done? This, Punch Drunk Love. I guess it was Spanglish. It all serious.
Spanglish was serious. Yeah.
But most of the time he's doing silly, schlocky stuff.
Yeah, and to this day, I mean, he's
just
still doing
terrible
it.
stuff.
Still rocking it. Yeah.
He doesn't care if he makes a good movie. He makes money, and that is no way an indictment against him. Do your thing, man. You are amazing. Happy Gilmore, one of my favorite all time movies. It's got a special place in my heart. A lot of his other stuff, great too. Even the Waterboy guys. I know how silly that is. Love the Waterboy. I'm always quoting that. But I think Adam Sandler. People were caught off guard by the type of character he was playing, and then Nick. I'll add on. I think maybe also people just didn't like the aesthetic of it. That it was jarring to them, and because they had a visceral reaction to it, they took that as a negative rather than going, yes, I had a visceral reaction, but was that a negative or a positive?
Yeah, you're totally onto something there. Yep.
So, yeah, and I mean, let's just real quick talk about critics, and then we can, read a couple audience reviews here and surmise. But I kind of think we covered it right there. But critics' consensus is, with elements that seem borrowed from movies like Goodfellas and Boogie Nights. Wait.
Boogie
Hang on. I scrolled down to to Blow.
I was like, none of this is Boogie Nights.
Guys, watch our previous episode. It's Blow, or listen to it.
Yeah,
And actually, you're going to be watching our episodes one of these days.
Heck yeah.
We're talking about it, guys. We're teasing some video.
We got the studio getting ready to get set up.
Yeah. So more to come on that. Anyway.
Give us 5 gifted subs and we'll... No, I'm just kidding. Uncut Gems reaffirms the Safdies as masters of anxiety-inducing cinema and proves Adam Sandler remains a formidable dramatic actor when given the right material. Spot on. Leonard Maltin. It's a movie that commands your attention and lingers afterwards, as does Sandler's intensely focused performance. This tops everything he's done before and is worthy of an Oscar. Is this Sandler's best performance?
It has to be. How could it
I
not
gotta
be?
say it is. Yeah. Agreed.
I loved him in Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love's really good,
I've
but
not
this is a
seen
better
that,
movie.
but I feel like this is such
I
a strong.
also have that in 4K.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree this is a better movie. I just was trying to think, was this a better performance? I think yes. And also my second question there, is it Oscar worthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We're all in
Yep.
agreement. Good. Right answer. Bill Goodykoontz. Great name, buddy. Arizona Republic. Cinematographer Darius Kanji gives the film a gritty, twitchy feel. The Safdies give it a story and a pace that never lets up. But Sandler gives it life and makes Uncut Gems a must-see movie. My thought there is, you guys, this movie rests on 3 equally solid pillars: production, story, and performance. And a lot of movies get 1 or 2 of those right, but not all of them are almost equally known for all 3. And this one is. I mean, we talk about the production, we talk about just the cinematography, the blocking, the parallel overlapping dialogue, the just the vibe of the Diamond District. The setting becomes a character almost. The lighting, everything. And then you got production there, and then you got story. I mean, God, this story is just a caper. It's like, what's going to happen? It's like a simultaneously a slice of life, but then also almost like a thriller, and then it also has the performance. So man, I think Bill Goodykoontz really sums it up with.
That's a great way to break that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard Whitaker, Austin Chronicle. Uncut Gems is a triumph of building a world and a character that are so infused with each other that they are impossible to separate. My question, did Sandler disappear into this role for you? Did you think I'm watching Sandler, or what were you thinking?
Not once did I think I was watching Sandler. I just melted into this weird fucking crazy, jewelry, shop owner in New York City. It's
Yeah.
just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Loved
his
it.
performance is so consistent. It's
Very consistent,
yeah,
yes.
It's really good.
Soraya Nadia McDonald, Andscape. I don't know what any of those words I just said are, but they're what I wrote down. The magic trick of the Safdies is that even when they plunge you into the dyspeptic, spleeny, cyclical hell of Howard's own making, they manage to make you root for him anyway. Have you guys ever rooted for a more unlikable character in a movie?
Gosh, I was going to bring this up in Slow Burn, actually.
We can wait.
Because,
That could be a
let's talk
teaser
about
for
this
it.
a little later because it's a really
bigger
interesting
conversation.
point. Yeah.
But very true. I agree with her, or Soraya, her or him or they. I don't know. And then the last one, Manhola Dargis, New York Times. It doesn't seem to add up to much. A little man lives his life, but this is just enough. So did this movie need to do anything else than what it did?
No.
Nope.
Love it. And then just to focus on, because I feel like before coming into this and doing the research for this, in the last 5 years of sort of digesting this movie, I feel like everyone describes this movie the same way, as a frantic, anxiety-inducing panic attack of a movie. And it was interesting because those words were strewn throughout a lot of the critics' comments. And I'm not going to say who these are. I'm just going to read a couple snippets from different critics here, but just random snippets. A bruising, desperate anxiety attack of a film. A jangling panic attack of a movie. Unleashes untold reserves of mania and panic. The movie itself is exhilarating. Just bring a Xanax. And a 134-minute anxiety attack disguised as a movie. Those are 5 completely different top critics snippets from their reviews. So we see a through line there.
One that you said before those that I thought was interesting, an interesting phrase was a cyclical hell.
That's why I'm not a writer. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was
a cyclical hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so there's your critics, guys.
Yeah, audiences, I mean, they obviously shit all over this. I have found a couple good ones, but overall, Captain Pond, it was a chore to watch. I thought I'd go with a professional critic's opinion this time around, but the audience is king. Lesson learned, a horrible film, 2 out of 5 stars.
Oh,
right?
I'm sorry, but I can't stand...
Audience is king.
I can't stand when it's like, just talk about the movie.
Yeah.
They always have to bring up the critics. It's like, fucking, just ignore the critics and tell me what you thought of it.
Make your own thing. I don't know. It's tough because you have to look at something maybe before you go pay $20 for a movie ticket, I guess.
I guess it's hard not to.
It's tough. So Natalie B., I hated this movie, and I'll tell you why. Here you go, Brian. First of all, it's loud and obnoxious. Everyone in the movie yelling at Adam Sandler while he executed the role well is the worst of them all. Second, it's frustrating because nothing, and I mean nothing, goes right. Third, the ending will just make you mad because the minute something finally goes right for this guy, boom, something even worse happens. This movie gave
That's how you
me
write
anxiety.
a good movie.
Right, that's
It
the
made
point.
me mad all at the same time. I do not recommend it. 0.5 star out of 5.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
These people just can't handle it. They can't handle it.
I hated Rocky because they were always punching each other.
Bad things keep happening to our hero.
I hated,
It's like,
I hated Braveheart because the warriors were yelling at each other and hurting each other. Fucking 1 out of 5.
So much fighting.
ridiculous.
I knew these would get you guys heated up. This next one by Andrew C. Wanted to like it.
Wait, is that our Andrew C?
I knew. This is why I picked it too.
Thank you for
I'm
that.
so glad you got it too. Wanted to like it, but hard without any likable characters. Pass. 1 out of 5 likable characters. How many likable characters did you find in this film, guys?
I mean,
Quite a few.
Quite a few, right?
I didn't find any good people.
Yeah, you
but
don't
I
like them
found
as-
so
yeah.
many characters that I liked a lot.
Yes, yes,
All right,
totally.
Yeah. All right. All right. We got a couple good ones, but we'll do one good one. Adam Sandler absolutely kills this role. Obviously, love to see him stepping out of his usual rom-com, movies. The whole movie, start to finish, captivates you. 4 out of 5.
Okay. Good
Zach
job.
V. Thank you.
Good job, Zach.
Yeah. That's all I got. I mean, a lot of them were just absolute shit bombs over how anxious people felt and how loud and people talking over themselves. And I think we all agree in this room that that's the reason it was good. Like, it just built on that. They did it on purpose. Like, there was a reason for it.
Gris, would you say maybe, and I guess this is speculation, but do you think a lot of those people just want to watch movies that make them feel nice and feel good and like they enjoy? So, we talked about like the dad folding laundry movie where it's just like you can just kind of have it on. You cannot just have this movie on because it like commands your like your consciousness. Would you think maybe like that's what a lot of these people were going like? This movie just made me uptight and I just couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like this film, but yes, it doesn't have, I think I scored it a little bit lower than you guys and outside of the 90s because it's not as rewatchable. Like, it just doesn't have enough, like, if maybe one of the characters or two of the characters had like a true heart that were out to help or do something or whatever, like if not everybody had some evil, dark, thing that they wanted to get after. But
Well, Gris, I think you're transitioning us really nicely into our next segment, Flip the Script. I don't think it's going to be super long tonight. I hope it's not.
I have one.
You have one. I mean, I think Gris threw out
That's exactly mine.
a pretty obvious one, and I will also second that. This movie is fatiguing. It's hard to watch. We've already kind of talked about that. So, what do you got, Brian?
I didn't think the auction was very accurate because wouldn't they realize that he had that guy that was in there? Like I feel like there's more mitigation in I've never been in an auction, but I feel like they don't. You can't just have somebody go in there drive up the price without knowing like, well, that's his fucking dad.
Yeah,
like
Sotheby's in those higher end auctions, they definitely know.
They vet
They
all the
would
people.
know.
Right?
Totally.
I think
You
that's
can't
hard.
just walk into there and bet.
Yeah.
And
So I think this is a little bit tough because the way the New York City Diamond District is like structured, you have dealers. So Adam Sandler's character owns this jewelry shop, and then you have runners who are, God, I got to look his name up. His little right hand man, LaKeith Stanfield.
yeah.
So
From
his
Get
character
Out and stuff like that.
His character is considered a runner. So they go and try to make a flip by grabbing as many watches as they can from Adam Sandler's character, go to the streets or go to other dealers that also have shops. They try to flip watches for $100, $200, $500, $10,000. Like if it's a $100,000 watch, maybe they can haggle with, hey, I'm going to go get this sold to so-and-so or my friends, or hey, I have Kevin Garnett. Like I have him. He's going to come and he's going to buy your watch. So I'm going to bring people into your shop. So I can see like if you know enough people in the city, those are the type of people who are going to go to that auction. And then you have some maybe NBA players that are trying to strike it up, but then you have at least a dozen of those people in that room might be acquaintances or people in the industry you may know. I don't know how much of that is like insider trading of like, hey, go rack this price up. But I think it did okay with that. I don't know. It's tough to.
I do, Brian. I appreciate how granular your complaint was.
That's the only one I have.
Since you had such a high score, it was But no, I valid though. I didn't really think of that, but no, I can buy that.
It was the only part of the movie where I kind of felt like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm necessarily buying that. That was literally it.
I'll throw out a little bit bigger complaint, and I want to also say this is like, it's kind of a big thing, but it didn't violate this that badly. But I thought the second act kind of dragged a little bit. I thought the second act was definitely the weakest part of the movie. All the family stuff. It's once again not bad. Like I was not like this part sucks, but I thought like it just was a little uneven in that sense. And
But see, I feel like that humanized him a lot. You know what I mean?
Ben, I'm grasping at straws, Ben. I'm grasping at straws. It's a damn good movie.
I can't.
I mean, it's not, and you could also argue that it just kind of gives you a break. You know, you kind of need a break from the stuff. But I just, maybe I'm not taking it back.
It was
I was
quiet.
struggling to criticize.
No, don't take it back. My comment is the same as Ben's. I feel like the movie needed that. I feel like it perpetuated arcs. It helped develop out his family dynamic. I don't know. I kind of liked all the scenes of the,
but also how fucked up he was. Like that helped build that too.
It did.
Like,
it did.
Just because he was like fighting for his marriage still. Meanwhile, he's still, infatuated with this second girl with,
just kind of like the going to the apartment and like the whole thing. That just it dragged just a tiny bit. But boy,
fair enough.
Yeah, very obviously fucking great movie. All right, this is Critical Mess. We are sponsored by Old Elk. We are sponsored by Penelope Whiskey, and we are sponsored by Modelo.
Day.
Keeping us hydrated. All right. What are we doing now? Oh, this is fun. We have a new, kind of a new segment. We did it last time, but we're going to do it again, and we're going to keep doing it because it's fun. And it's called, until we come up with a better name, Marquee Mess. Marquee Mess. This is the segment where we rename the film. So, guys, what you got?
I got a couple.
Yeah, Brian, I know.
I'm sorry.
I know, please.
What's the limit? How many can I do?
You can have as many as you want, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to do round
Sky's
robin?
the limit. I've only got a few. I have to say I'm not super proud of mine tonight, but I've got a couple to throw out there.
All right, so my first one is the most practical and the one that I really think it could be renamed like legitimately. So I looked up what that little airlock vestibule security thing is on his shop, right? Where there's the the double buzzers that have to be buzzed in for security. Those are called man traps. So it's one word, man trap. So I thought this movie could have been called The Man Trap. Kind of double layer there. And also I think The Man Trap, which is, I'll talk about that in a bit, that the actual man trap in this movie was like a microcosm of the entire movie. And it was like symbolic of the characters and everything. So
there was a lot of things that happened in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot happening in that man trap.
Yeah, I like that.
I guess I'll say another one real quick.
Yeah,
here. In the spirit of Inglorious Bastards, you know how both words are spelled wrong? You know, Lourious, Basterds, which I still don't know why it's spelled that way.
Just because it's cool.
Just cool? Okay, cool. I would rename this movie Diamond Ring, but diamond is spelled Diemond, and ring is spelled Wring.
Classy. Real classy.
It's just so stupid.
I like it, Brian.
I'll give you one more punny one.
Yeah.
A proper scheme addict. Yeah?
Okay. I can get there.
Schematic.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one.
Yeah.
Let's hear 'em, dude. Keep going.
Yeah.
You guys
Extra
seen-
credit.
You guys seen Adam Sandler and Anger Management?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, this could be Anger Management 2, Lost in New York.
Okay.
Oh, just one more. Okay, just one more.
Yeah.
Snatch 2, The Curse of the Black Opal. Kind of more practical.
Yeah.
Okay.
This movie did have a little bit of a Snatch vibe, a little bit,
Yeah.
just kind of the way
Yeah,
the
for sure.
cinematography and the pacing and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All the talking over each other, you can't understand half.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people.
There's a certain frenetic kind of thing going on both movies. Yeah.
I only have a few. I didn't do a whole lot. Number one, The Rock. Parentheses,
Ooh.
not the wrestler.
The Rock.
Good.
How did I...
Yeah.
Parentheses.
I had Happy Stones to play off his Happy Medicine, and then Janky Jewels, JEW in all caps.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice. I like that too.
Jewels.
I like that too.
Very good. Very good.
All right, guys. Here are mine. My first one is Howie the Rat. You notice his last name was Ratner.
Ratner.
Notice that. I also just thought maybe it should just be called STFO
Nice.
because it's stressful.
Wait. Wait. What is that?
Stress the fuck out.
Oh, I've never heard.
Oh, you never seen that?
No.
It's like AFK or any of
I've
those
seen
abbreviations.
I've seen STFU, but not STFO. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
STFO. Stress the fuck out.
Cool. I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I'll say my last one.
Oh yeah, please.
Because that one was
The Long Hard Weekend.
good call. Good one.
Here's my last one. Mr. Deeds 2, fuck everyone.
Wait, I got one more.
Yes,
I
please.
promise. Last one. Snatch 2, but instead of the number 2, it's TOO. Snatch 2, down with OPP.
I like it.
Good.
Huh?
Yeah.
I like it.
I promise that was the last one.
Yeah.
Last one.
I think we all did very well tonight, guys.
I think
That's-
I overachieved.
Way to go.
Yeah.
We did
Proud
it.
of us.
It's a new segment. We're working on it, guys. We're working on it. It's gonna get better and better.
Yeah.
And 10 episodes from now, holy shit, you're gonna be like, well, I'm skipping right to the marquee mess.
Yeah, you're like
There'll be
like
a
fucking
stuck-
hot. Who cares about a hot pocket?
Yeah,
There'll-
right.
There'll be a stinger.
Yeah, there'll be. Yeah, exactly.
we
We'll have
got
a
it.
whole intro.
Yeah.
It'll be a thing. Okay, critical mess. What do we do now? What comes after marquee mess? I think themes and arcs, right?
Only briefly.
Only super
The
briefly.
the fans' favorite.
Fan favorite. Here we go.
Fan favorite. We don't have a new. I think part of the problem is we don't have a good name for this segment. It's just
Yeah.
themes and art. It's very bland.
Can you write something up?
Yeah,
for us?
well, I'll get to where. Let's get it on my deliverable list.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, we'll do an IR of Friday.
Yeah, sounds good. So who does this part? I feel like Brian, you usually have some things to say.
I
The theme master.
just only briefly. I have a couple themes here. That sort of idea of like, it's kind of the human, the depraved condition of if only I had that one thing, my life would be right. Like
Yep.
my life's almost there, but if I just had that thing, and everybody in all walks of life, I feel like always has that. Not everybody, but people tend to have that mentality.
Yep.
And he's always one step away from if I just could have that thing. And for most of the movie, it's the black opal, but it's just money. It's just whatever it is. So it's kind of
Yeah, it'll never be enough as he doesn't realize it.
Yeah. and
It'll
I-
never be enough, even if he gets it.
Yeah.
If you guys rewatch, like he actually strings together his money owed and money won to the next thing.
Yeah.
And so
Right,
everything
yeah,
he
yeah,
owes, like even the watch or the stone he auctioned off, he ended up selling it for less than what he did in the actual auction. So he's going to lose money
Gonna
there.
lose
Yeah,
so
he's
much
always
money.
But all he
max.
gave a shit about was getting that $175,000 in his hand to put to the
Right.
next
He's
bet.
always
So
max leveraged.
it just
Always.
stacked the whole
and,
way
and
through.
that was sort of the side theme there is it really explores the darkness of the addiction of gambling.
yeah.
I mean, he is just a degenerate. He cannot get out of the clutches of being addicted to gambling, and that's a case in point. He's always using his winnings for whatever he's got next, and oh God, it's just such a stressful
And
way
he's
to
just
live.
brushing off the losers, like the twins that show
Yeah.
up on the
Yeah,
street.
yeah, they show up
and he's
with
like, I don't give a
legitimate claims.
shit because he's like, it's probably
He's got a
worth,
bigger fish he's
it's probably
after.
like $5 or $10 that he owes these people, and he doesn't give a shit about those.
And I don't know if you guys have ever known anyone that had a serious gambling addiction.
Yes,
But like this is pretty on it. Like this is kind of how it is. Like
Yeah.
this is how a gambler thinks. Like
Yeah.
that, like I just need that next couple of bucks so I can put it on that next bet. Like
That makes sense to me because when I was watching it, I remember thinking, I'm really thankful. I mean, I've got problems, but I'm thankful that this isn't one of them. And it's like, wow, I can see how that would be a huge problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's like I mean, I won't do a whole rabbit hole here, but gambling really is like about one of the nastiest addiction you can have because, like, at least as I've heard the quote before. At least the alcoholics fall asleep, right?
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Yeah. So anyway,
My last theme I had is the idea of talking your way out of things, and he just spends the whole movie talking his way out of things, but he gets what's coming to him, and I think that I don't know how much of a theme that is, but it just was something that was prevalent throughout the whole movie. So that's what I picked up.
yeah, a couple. Value of life, and then also just greed.
Oh,
And just-
for sure,
yeah.
greed, absolutely, yeah.
The way you describe that, and it's just just talked about this
Materialism,
heavily.
yeah, everything's materialism.
Yeah,
here.
he's just so hungry for the next thing, and it's so tough.
What was that noise?
Is it this?
Are we in the Matrix?
I don't know.
oh, there it was.
I must have hit something.
I don't know. That was weird.
Themes. I think you guys covered the themes.
Yeah.
Greed seems like the biggest theme. Avarice. That's the biggest theme to me. Arcs. I think arcs is a little bit interesting. I'll just throw out there. I don't think Howie had much of an arc here, right? Kind of was the same guy the whole way.
Interesting. I agreed. He did not change by the end, but he almost did. There was such a good scene in this movie where he breaks down, where he finally breaks down, and everything welling up inside of him finally overflows, and he spills his heart to Julia.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't do this anymore. I need help. I can't get out of this by myself. And it's so good because you're finally, as the watcher, you're like, oh my God, yes, this person who's so conflicted in his life's in turmoil, he's gonna get help. He got to this place where he knows he's at his rock bottom. And it's like, that's when people need to not have an out. But unfortunately, he gets the out, and it's like
it
it's like
doesn't
never
change
happened.
him. It doesn't change
So
him. It
it's-
almost changes him.
It's like not a full arc, but like it's most of the arc. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't complete. It's like the arc is edging.
yeah. It's
we talked about that
it's
in
very
another
smart.
movie.
Yeah, it's very smart.
What did we talk? We described another movie with that edging, where it's just like they keep egging you on throughout the entire film, and then there's no payoff at the end.
Yeah.
What movie
What
was
was
that?
I believe that Ben described Saltburn as edgelording.
Edgelording.
I wasn't sure what you meant by that, but
I know what you mean, Ben.
oh, okay,
Thanks.
edgelording. All right.
Yeah.
Critical Mess, Old Elk, Bruce
Bruce
Banner
Banner,
of Deers,
Ambrosial.
Penelope, and Modelo.
Modelo.
Yes. Okay, now we go to a place with a song, and here it comes. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Welcome to Brian's Corner. Tonight we're going to talk about this movie because it's so freaking good, as Ben is locked eyes with me and knows how good this movie is. And you guys, I'm going to kind of blow your mind with how highly rated this movie is. We commented on it when I talked about the top critics having a 94% positive on this movie. But as I like to do, I want to get out of 10, right? I'm not going to tell you what this movie is out of 10, but let's just put it this way. Most movies, like above a 6, that's considered a good movie. Okay. So let's take a look at this movie compared to like universally acclaimed movies out there. And I just want to know if your minds are going to be blown like mine.
In the
like mine were.
94 plus percentile.
So it's 94% liked, but the out of 10 is what I'm going to show
okay.
you. So like
Gotcha.
it's like the average rating out of 10, which I think is more indicative of how good a movie is rather than how widely it's embraced.
Got it.
So these are the top critics, right, guys? A top critic, just to educate us here on Rotten Tomatoes, love Rotten Tomatoes or hate Rotten Tomatoes, conspiracy theories, yada yada. But the top critics are, your Roger Eberts and that kind of stuff. Obviously, he's the GOAT, but they're people who are professionals. This is what they do. This is their full-time job, is that they analyze and critique film. And so the top critics on Rotten Tomatoes, so it says, established in 2008, top critic is a designation that elevates tomato meter critics who excel at their craft, are well-established, influential, and prolific. They're, in a sense, the cream of the crop. And it lists things like they have to have a minimum of 5 years experience. So basically what they're doing here is they're saying these people are credentialed. And these are their ratings out of 10. Jurassic Park, has a 7.8 out of 10 from the top critics, right?
Wow.
We would all say Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park's great,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that seems kind of stupid.
Yeah,
it's
Seems a
pretty
little-
good.
Seems a little
Yeah.
low.
Well, it's just to show you.
Yeah, the where the bar is.
Like
Yeah, I get that.
Jurassic Park probably is like 100, like a 99% on Rotten. I don't know what it is, but it's really, really high percentage. But the actual out of 10, 7.8, right? Good Will Hunting, we'd say that's Oscar winner. A lot of people love Good Will Hunting. 8.0 out of 10. All right, let's go even better. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ben, number one movie of all time. 8.1 out of 10.
Wow.
Very high rating out of 10. Okay, so surely, what could be better than that? Well, how about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Like everybody, right?
Classic.
No one's going to say that's a bad movie, right? 8.2 out of 10.
Wow.
Oh, we're getting higher and higher here. What about The Sound of Music, guys? Come on.
the best musical of all time.
The best music of all time, one of the best movies of all time. Another 8.2 out of 10, okay? How about a recent universally acclaimed movie, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? No one didn't like that movie. It's like so good, right? 8.3.
Wow.
We're inching up.
We're still not.
We're not even jumping.
We're still not to where Uncut Gems is.
We're edgelording.
We're edgelording all the way up to
Edgelording all
Uncut
day,
Gems, you
yeah.
guys. How about The Terminator?
Oh, that should be a 10.0.
8.4.
Yeah.
How about There Will
The
Be
movie or Arnold?
How about There Will Be Blood, right? Like it's almost like if you say you didn't like There Will Be Blood, you're wrong. Almost you feel, right?
Yeah, I mean, you are.
Yeah, you're
It's
wrong.
one of those
You're
movies
wrong.
that like
If you didn't like it, you're
everyone
wrong.
likes. 8.5.
Okay.
Interesting.
What about The Empire Strikes Back?
Should be another 10.
8.6. Okay, we're getting
We're getting there.
better and
We're
better
getting there.
here. How about Blade Runner? Ken Honeywell's favorite movie.
Yes.
I don't know if it still is, but 5 years ago it was. Shout out
It
to
is.
Ken. Okay.
Yeah, shout out Ken.
Amazing, flawless, perfect movie. And a respectable 8.8 out of 10.
Wow.
Damn. So what can be better than that? Well, how about 2001: A Space Odyssey? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to be a 10 out of 10, right? It's an 8.8 still. So we'll just run through a couple more of these. Toy Story, 8.9. Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock, 9.0
The cock himself.
out of
Are
10.
you telling me this movie is rated higher than fucking
Yes,
Psycho?
are you starting to get the
Where
idea
was Psycho?
here?
Where was Psycho on your list? I saw it was high, right?
It was pretty high. It was in the top 30, I'd say.
Star Wars: A New Hope, original, 9.0. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 9.0. Alien, 9.0. Apocalypse Now, taught in almost every film school as how you make them, 9.0. It's a Wonderful Life. Now we're reaching to the heavens,
Yeah, that's in my top 10.
9.0.
Wow.
12 Angry Men.
That's one of the
Classic.
most perfect
That's all.
films.
It's got to
I've
be the
ever
best movie,
seen.
right?
That's on our all list.
It's
Yeah.
in my top 5.
Yeah. 9.1. And finally, we've arrived to Uncut Gems at 9.1. That's how fucking
That's
good
insane. Wow.
Uncut Gems is. Okay? That's how good this movie is. And most of those movies are not recent. Most of those movies are like, people tend to rate movies higher when they're like old. It's like, well, you don't know about this movie. So, there's this kind of bias about like older movies are better. You know what I mean? I just made that up, but it seems right. well, guys, what could be higher than that? I've got a couple
The
movies
Matrix?
that are even better. We're going to go 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.8, 9.9, and there's a movie that's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's Die Hard, right?
It's going to blow your mind. 9.2 is The Godfather. Okay.
Now
I
we're
just
getting
watched
there.
that.
Now we're getting up there.
9.3 has come up tonight. Pulp Fiction.
Interesting.
So actually, that's a great answer for the most overrated, because look how highly rated it is.
Yeah.
9.4. What could be 9.4? The Wizard of fucking Oz. 9.4. How about 9.5? Parasite.
On
Wow.
my number 2.
Yes.
Wow.
You have good taste, my friend. 9.6. What could be better than Parasite? How about Casablanca? 9.6.
Yeah, I was
Granted.
wondering. Yeah, I forgot.
Fair.
Yeah, gotta
Granted.
be there. Yeah.
The only one that we've probably not heard of here is the 9.7. It took me like an hour and 15 minutes to find a 9.6. I literally had to click through every best movie to find one and then I had to click in and find. Anyway, 9.7 is called Shadow of a Doubt from 1943. Have any of us heard or seen this movie?
Nope.
I was
Okay.
going to guess RoboCop 2.
And
but
it's not just, it doesn't just have like 2 ratings. It's got, enough ratings to. That's a 9.7. Does anybody want to guess what the 9.8 is?
Citizen Kane.
Nope.
It's got to be close.
It is The Godfather Part 2.
Oh.
Okay.
9.8. And Nick, you just called out the 9.9. Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
So what the hell could be the 10 out of 10? What's better than Citizen Kane? What did every single critic rate perfectly?
I swear to God, if you say The Matrix, I'm going to punch you
It's
in the
not
face.
The Matrix.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You guys, you're going to hear this and you're going to go, yep.
Three Ninjas.
Yep. No.
3 Ninjas Kick Back.
What could it be? Everyone's on pins and needles.
Yeah.
How about Seven Samurai?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I told you that would be your
Beautiful.
reaction.
I also have that on DVD.
Okay.
Seven Samurai.
Not 4K?
Yeah.
It is.
Not
It
4K.
is a perfect movie.
Dear audience,
Yeah,
if you
there's
wanna
literally
watch-
nothing wrong with
If
that
you want to
movie.
watch the perfect movie that
Yeah.
every top
not
critic
seen that
has
in a
rated
long
perfectly, not even one demerit.
I literally
for
went
Seven
and
Samurai.
saw it. So Can had an event where they had different Japanese whiskey tastings, and then they showed the entire movie, and it was one of the best events I went to in the last
That is
10 years.
the most pretentious and the most awesome thing.
I know.
I want to be there. I would be you.
It was so fun.
Well, did you guys know Uncut Gems came back to IMAX here in Indy
yeah.
Oh,
recently?
wow.
Can you imagine seeing this at IMAX?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
That would be overwhelming.
Yeah, I just wanted to call out, like, when I clicked through and saw this was a 9.1, I hadn't seen anything that was a 9. It took me a lot of time to even find anything beyond a 9, and of course we saw like just the craziest ones there. So
It's a great testament to the quality of the film.
I would say that points to how good this film is. So audience, you're stupid.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me at Brian's Corner. Have a great day.
All right, this is Critical
yeah.
Mess. We are talking about Uncut Gems. We are sponsored by Old Elk, the Ambrosia Old Elk, Penelope Whiskey, and Modelo. And we are now. I think we made it, guys. Didn't we? What did I forget? Did I forget something?
Nope. I think we're done.
Yeah. All
Good
right.
job,
Yeah,
y'all.
we're
This is a
there.
wrap.
Yep.
We're there. All right. We'll see you guys next
Yep.
week.
Thanks, guys. This has been
See
critical.
ya.
Yep. Nope. Well, no. This is what This is what our fictional Patreon sponsors. This is what they. This is the time code. They're going to get the timestamp for this part of the episode because, frankly, no one cares about any of the preamble bullshit that we've been doing for the last 51 minutes. No one gives a fuck. But they do, however, give a fuck about this segment, which. It does kind of, we vacillate, right? We have some names. It started with a name, and then it went to a different name, and a different name, and a different name. We've just kind of been going back and forth and back and forth. Hot Pocket. Oh, wait. Hang on.
I love how we say we're Hot Pocket, and then we hear Crossfire. What
Well,
the
that was another name for it. It was Crossfire, which was the board game from the 90s, also the CNN show. What else have we called this, guys?
Sideburn, Crossburn, Crossfade, Rapid Fire.
Rapid Fire.
Sideburn.
Rapid Fire was the OG.
Rapid
Fire was the OG name.
I'm
And
gonna
then
get a Hot Pocket.
Yeah, then we went to Hot
Sound.
Pocket. But the thing is, we realized that was such a stupid ass name for this segment because we just can't shut.
We can't
the fuck
shut
up.
the hell up.
So
We can't
it's
even
like-
shut up talking about what this is. Matter of fact,
Right.
I could have heated up and cooled down and eaten 2 Hot Pockets in the time it took for us
could
to
have
talk about this.
easily. So we came up
Vegan.
with a much
Vegan Hot
more
Pockets.
apt, a much more appropriate name for this segment, and that name is
Slow burn. There it is.
there. It is. Welcome,
Thanks, Ben.
welcome everybody to Slow Burn. We're gonna slow burn tonight, like we always do, and gosh, guys, well, let's just jump right in. I usually start kind of at the top of the film, and one thing I want to just shout out. Obviously, this is a great movie. This movie starts. I love how this movie starts.
Oh my God, yes.
I love how the first thing you see is this guy with this gnarly broken leg, just kind of bleeding all over the face, and just sort of the panic and the turmoil of the situation just beautifully encompasses what you're going to see for the next 2 hours.
That was a cool location shot. It
was
I
very-
bet that was like $2 million of the budget.
It was a
Yeah,
very
maybe.
cool location shot, and I also just love how it's it just sets the tone. Like people are gonna fucking bleed in this movie. You're gonna see
yeah.
some blood, and I'm not sure I would have thought that when I first got into this movie, but I really just liked how that set the tone. And it sounds like you guys agree.
And I won't jump ahead, but like how it transitions into the movie. Hopefully you were going to speak
Yeah,
to that.
and
I
out
think
of the
that's our.
movie.
Because to me, that's what I think
we're
of
going
as
way
the
too
beginning.
fast.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
way
sorry,
too
sorry.
fast.
Yes.
So sorry.
Broken
Okay.
leg, location shot, check.
Yes.
Hot Pocket, number 1.
Yes, that's the first part of the Hot Pocket. So the little bit of uncooked pepperoni.
That's when you bite into the Hot Pocket and you're not sure how hot it's going to be. And
Yeah, you
then
need
that
to put it
steam
back in
comes
for
out, you're
30.
like, oh, or
Yeah,
it's too
get
cold.
Get it back in for 30. But yeah, let's talk about that opening shot, guys. Let's just dissect that a little bit. Kind of right after that, they kind of the miners discover the gem, and we kind of go into the gem. Right,
Ben and Gris, I wanted to ask you how they do that, because that's the guy holding that thing. How do they track? How would you say they track into that? Or maybe Nick, were you going to?
No, I would love to hear what these guys.
Because it's like it seamlessly goes into the opal. Did you guys?
Did you think it was magic, Brian?
Well, how did the camera shrink? How'd they do that?
They did get a shrinking camera. Have you seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
And how'd it come out the other end inside Adam Sandler's colon? I don't understand.
It's incredible.
It's magic.
The CG is really good.
Yeah, it was very flawless. I got to say that. Yeah. I would imagine it's probably that's an actual stone, and then they just had maybe a little spot of green or whatever it was right on the gem, and then they kind of zoomed in, and as soon as they go full screen on the green spot on the rock, they can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah. So
you ever seen like when they cover the camera with something, like it essentially that's the cut. So
sure, like a stitch, like when someone walks in front of the camera, sure,
that kind of thing. So it was really well zoomed in and stitched into CG, and I'm sure everything past like a certain point is just CG.
I mean, heck, they could have just zoomed in on the stone and just did a nice little motion blur into anything they wanted.
Put it this way, I did not notice the stitch, so it was really well done.
Yeah,
it's like that intro scene is very well done,
and I thought it was really comedic the way that it went into this like $1 million, one of a kind, like beautiful opal, and it turns out to be something so
abstract.
Literally his asshole.
Literally.
It's such a slap in the face.
The way that it transitions from the stone to the colon, it's just like
it's really well done.
It's really well done.
I got to say, like when you rewatch it, I watched it a few times, just like quickly scrubbing through it to watch what it does in the transition, and it was great because it just does the stone thing, and you see like the molecules and all those things, and it gets further and further, and it just like beautifully transitions into the internals of a human body.
Right,
and then obviously the film exits on the exact same style.
If you haven't seen this movie, you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? So yes, for a little bit of point of reference, he's getting a colonoscopy at the very start of this film, and it kind of the shot just transitions from this gem to his sort of his.
And it doesn't show anything graphic at all.
No,
it's just
the
you don't
camera
even know what
inside.
it is, but it's just the realization of what it is. It's not what you see; it's what you realize.
Yeah. It's just it's
great beginning to the movie. We can all agree.
Chris, what watch was the doctor wearing?
He was wearing a gold Rolex Datejust. So simple,
the doctor doing
classy,
the colonoscopy.
Doing the colonoscopy.
Because it was prominent.
It's
like it was very prominent.
Often that doctors would continue to wear that, but
or
sometimes they do
an operation.
and they will for time's sake to actually see and but not very often.
Well, Gris, let's just get into that, man. It's let's make it watch time. Gris is what's it called? Gris is what Gris is watching today?
What the fuck is Gris watching?
Yeah.
Let's
just get right into it.
I love how you're the first one brazen enough to just put the F-bomb right in your title.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
That's gonna be marquee fucking mess.
Yeah.
Going forward. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I like that.
Yeah.
Our themes and arcs better have the C word in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh, so many watches, guys. This movie is awesome because there were so many people in the background that the Safdie brothers, like all the actors in this movie, I would say more than half were not actors or just complete unknowns that they pulled in to be real with the scenes. So I've always been into watches, but it wasn't until 5-6 years ago you can get realistic about affording some watches. And so I started following a bunch of guys on social media, and a lot of these guys in the background are actual watch dealers that do this on the day-to-day. They do exactly what Adam Sandler does in this film. One of them is, I'm going to butcher his name, sadly, because it's Maksud Agajani, who founded Trax NYC, which is the exact same thing. It's a watch and jewelry buy, sell, trade kind of business. So he runs that store, and then he just blew up on social media. So his character name's Yassi.
That guy's got like a big YouTube channel.
Yeah, huge on TikTok and YouTube, and like he's just made a huge name for himself in the watch business. But Adam Sandler himself, he like drenched himself in this role. So he just went nuts about learning everything about the business and what like weird shit these people would do and like their characteristics. They're just weird, strange people like hustling watches all day long. But he wears 3 watches in the entire film. Did you guys catch any of these or notice the watches at all?
I never noticed a single watch.
I mean, I just noticed there were some badass watches, but
he just keeps saying, "I've got this Rolex," and then that's all I got.
Yeah. So he's got a couple. The Rolex he wears the most is the Rolex Day-Date, which has a weird red dial, and then it's iced out. So it's obviously aftermarket. So the whole bracelet's covered in diamonds, which is not sought after. It's just you cover a watch in diamonds and people will just pay more and you can put a bigger markup on it.
That's called being iced out.
Iced out. There you go. Yeah. It's just gross and disgusting looking, but those guys that work these things can mark them up to basketball players.
Kind of like the rappers wearing the huge, just gaudy gold chains.
So the guy, the character, Yassi's character, his real shop, he was, I guess, I read this in a couple spots, but he was made famous for jeweling out random shit and putting them on chains. So he became popular for doing that, including the Furby that was used in the scene. So it was a nice little nod.
I love
him.
that scene when Howard's like, look at that, his eyes are good. Look at that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
The other watches he wears is obviously he's got a Patek Philippe reference 25860 ST. If you guys don't know anything, those watches usually go from
I think Patek Philippe is like top of the top, right?
Top of the top. I mean, those go like used beat to shit ones go for like 60, 80 grand, and then they can go up to 2, 3, 4, 500 grand.
Jesus Christ.
And he's just throwing one around as he just wears it every day.
Yeah.
And then the last one's the one he wears when he's dying at the end or is dead at the end is the Breitling Chronomat, which overrated watch in my opinion.
Oh.
But
Hot take.
Hot take, yeah. But yeah, so many references to watches. Rolexes for sure. Everyone's wearing one in this film, from top to bottom.
What's your favorite watch that they have in this film?
It's got to be the Doctor's Rolex.
Oh, cool.
Date 8.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
It's
Like
so
the first watch you
simple.
see.
It's gold. It's like the first thing you see in this film.
Yeah.
It's just super classy. Everything else is just aftermarket bullshit that is iced out or over the top. So,
Dude, you delivered.
yeah. You like
I
that?
felt
Very
like you
nice.
put on a
Yeah, very nice. Are you going to give us Rolexes now?
I am. I have a small box over here.
God.
Modelo box.
So, guys,
How did you sneak those in?
let's talk about the music a little bit because
Oh, God.
boy,
So
was it
good.
fucking great.
So good.
Yes. Wow. I have to say, like, and I loved the synth music in this, and I loved it just and the way it just paralleled the pace. The music always complemented what was happening on screen in this movie. I felt like it always synthesized with the movie so well. Like whatever was happening, the music just felt so naturally perfect.
The first like 20 minutes was just synth music playing over that cacophonous like jewelry store interaction, and I just
Yeah.
was like, I'm loving this. Like, what is this vibe happening?
Yeah, it's almost hard to put your finger on. It was just very
And then
beautiful.
it went to this like almost like sitcom 90s sitcom sounding flute like ensemble, which I made it sound really dorky just now, but it matched perfectly, and it was like really mysterious, and you're like, what?
And there was to that point, there was a lot of different kinds of music. There was that kind of synth, that kind of fluttery, sort of chaotic, but sort of pleasant sort of synth was kind of the anchor.
And you've got like we're seeing that scene right here where the Weeknd is playing at this party, and it's like then you got a bunch of
and then
Weeknd
it goes
tracks
all,
here.
right, and then it goes all over the place.
Yeah.
But it kind of had that anchor and that sort of instrumental synth stuff. And but anyways, I just thought the music was like
there's a
amazing,
like choral music playing after. So it's right after this scene, which we're watching the Weeknd scene where Howard pulls Julia out of the party, and they're like talking or walking or whatever, and there's like this really strange ethereal choral music, and I respect that a lot, because often movies don't have choral music. They have like just it's either an orchestra or it's just electronic. But to get a choir in and do that, it's like you're grabbing it's just logistically much more complex. And I respect whenever I hear. I mean, you think like Duel of the Fates in Star Wars. Like you don't get a lot of choral music in Star Wars, but then you get Duel of the Fates, and it's like that was a special thing. So for sure.
So I had to mention this because I'm not a big music guy, but I did notice this. So Julia, her part in that music specifically was when you enter the gym. Like whenever the gym is in a scene, they'll have that orchestral, like that weird synth, not synth, but that weird sound that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then whenever she's in the scene, like that's his gym is her. And then the wife scene is like almost silent. There is no music. It is
there's never music
pure
with
nothing
because they hate each other.
Like she means nothing to him. Like there's nothing there anymore. And then that's his new.
So it's almost like it's his internal music,
Dude, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
kind of
Yeah,
like
it's his
that.
music
so,
for Julia.
and it
Yeah.
ties back to the whole going into the gym
I like
and
this movie
his-
even more.
Yeah,
It's
how
so
cool!
good.
How cool! I'm sure that that sounds great.
It seems too correct to not think
I'm
that
sure
the
seems-
Safdies thought of that.
Yeah, that was
But-
probably intentional. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool. Pretty famous executive producer on this movie. Did you guys catch it?
Barack Obama.
Not on this one. This one was Joe Biden.
Damn, he's hip.
What a crazy.
Nope. Nobody caught it.
No, I don't look at the I was about to say the lyrics.
Pretty accomplished.
How to look at the movie lyrics.
A pretty accomplished filmmaker was a
Steven
executive
Spielberg?
producer here.
Scorsese.
Nailed it.
Dude,
Wow.
I
Scorsese.
love it.
That makes
Damn.
actually a
I
lot of
love
sense.
it. That makes so much sense.
Yep. Thought we should shout that out.
That's great.
Okay, I want to definitely.
Congratulations, Martin Scorsese, for making a shit ton of even more money now.
Yeah, right.
Good job.
So I want to talk. We alluded to this earlier, but I think we got to talk about the real people in this movie and what a great job they did as non-actors, and also So I'm mainly talking about Kevin Garnett and The Weeknd.
Yep. Yes.
Are the main two, and also to a lesser extent the Yessie guy.
Yeah.
Who's also kind of a real person, sort of celebrity.
And the loan shark guys and the jewelry guys where he goes and trades the Celtic ring. The Celtics. The Boston Celtics.
Boston Celtics, yeah.
The Boston Celtics. You remember he trades a ring into those
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And there's like the one guy who he almost looks like he's like cross-eyed or something, and then the other guy who's got like the twitches and stuff. Those guys weren't actors, right? They had to be
Who
real
knows?
people.
But probably not.
So I had to look that up too. It's like a lot of these guys were just they were actors, but they were just all working odd jobs, wanting to be actors, or they had one commercial part and then that was it. And
They
like,
felt real.
so the Safdie brothers found a lot of these people on the street or in coffee shops, or they would just walk up to them at a restaurant or a bar and say, "Hey, do you want a part?" Years before this movie was made, not like recent.
Wow.
They were just like, "Hey, I know you're going to be good for this part. Let's bring you in later." Like the old guy that was the filthy rich guy at the hotel penthouse.
Yeah.
Like he was just a random character actor that they found.
I'm just realizing this about my top 10.
Yeah. Ben, I love your top 10, by the way.
It's big.
like amazing.
Everything
It's-
Everywhere All at Once, same thing.
It's all A24. It's all A24 amazing
I mean,
movies.
pretty much, yeah.
I recognize
Everything Everywhere All at Once did the same thing. They had people, like a lot of the actors in that movie were not like substantial actors. They were just like people that they pulled off the street.
You can usually, if you're a good director, you can get some great natural reactions out of them. But I think the first thing I watch is their eyes. If they kind of float their eyes too often to the side, you can tell they're looking at somebody to get a reaction out of something or look for a cue. But this movie was just flawless. I don't know if it was because it was so frantic and they're looking everywhere and they're doing everything and talking, but I didn't see any of that.
Well, I want to point out a really important nuance to this, in that so these people are playing themselves, right? I really liked how they allowed themselves to be kind of portrayed in a negative light as their actual personality. That seemed like not a lot of celebrities, I think, would be comfortable with that.
No.
And these guys, Garnett, he's kind of an asshole.
Yes, he
a little
is.
bit, I mean, he's not super cool. And The Weeknd is
Weeknd's
kind of
an asshole, too.
I
He
mean,
tries to
almost,
steal his chick.
almost pulls off some sexual assault.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he's like it's not a real flattering.
Well, have you
portrayal.
seen The Idol?
The what?
The Idol on HBO? Anybody?
No.
The Idol. He's like his show he just came out with. It's like It's like inappropriate in that way.
Oh,
Like, it's
interesting.
Well, okay, never mind. Forget I brought that up.
so-
If you ever see that movie, you'll understand or that show, you'll understand. But yeah, I agree. It's like how did they get these guys to number one sign off on this and number two be believable and be really good actors?
yeah.
We just talked about this because we brought up. I don't remember what episode it was. Was it 2 ago where it's like somebody they got a real guy to come in and play themselves, and I likened it to Todd Phillips directing Mike Tyson and doing it in a good way. And I can't remember now offhand who. Do you guys remember? It was like on the last episode, or was it on Roadhouse? Oh, Conor McGregor. Remember how I was saying like Conor McGregor, they just didn't wield him well?
Yeah.
And he took me out of it. Well, KG and The Weeknd were wielded
Yes.
very
yes.
correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. So that was kind of extraordinary. I mean, can you even name another movie where like you have someone playing themselves and they're like kind of a negative? It's like in a negative light. That's kind of a very specific question. But
So actually, you
got
yes,
one? Yeah.
it's actually another Adam Sandler movie, Hustle. It just came out recently. It's a basketball movie. Karl Anthony Towns, who's an actual basketball player, he is an asshole in the movie and is just an unlikable character. But in real life, he's one of the best basketball players of all time, and he's very like fun and good.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
Because it seems like it would take a cool person to be down to do this.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Here's
to like,
a good example.
honestly.
Nick Cage playing himself in the unbearable weight of massive talent,
yeah.
and
Right.
he doesn't play an asshole, but he's almost self-aware of how crazy he is.
Yeah.
And he like literally allows the movie to explore his craziness, and it's like, how does he have the finesse to know that we're not all laughing at him. I don't.
Yeah.
I would if I were him, I'd be like, is everyone laughing at me?
Well, most
is
of
this the room?
these
Is this Tommy
famous
Wiseau?
people are super worried about, it's all ego driven.
Yeah.
Very ego driven, and these people clearly don't really give a fuck.
And when people play themselves, normally they're very subdued because they don't want to do anything that's going to be like misconstrued. But like KG's like yelling and the Weeknd's fighting and good
it's
stuff.
just really good. Yeah.
Boy, we're right in the middle of a
We are
meatball
burned,
sandwich hot pocket.
just the right,
A
that
Swiss
really
and
that
ham.
lukewarm middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. There's no escape.
Yeah, no escaping this hot pocket. This movie was very good with the details, just the little things. One example of this, Howard's office. That's like the exactly how that office.
such-
here it is, right here.
that's such-
there it is. Isn't that exactly what
that's such
this
a
guy's
real
office
office.
should look like?
Yes.
A couple of basketballs that are in some acrylic cases. This safe over here with a bunch of stickers and shit on it. Bunch of paper that really messy. Post-it notes, stickers. It just looks so spot on.
So spot on.
And I love the attention to detail in this movie. They could have so easily just made this like a cool, real slick office. They just got this cool back office and who really wouldn't think about it. But no, they really, what would this character's office look like? This is what it would look like.
Even the fact that the showroom out front, as it were, is not like on a street. It's like up on a second floor of a building, down a drab white hall, through a man trap, and like here you're in this showroom, and it's like that seems so absurd that it's got to be somebody went and visited a shop just like that. And
Yeah,
they went, "This is what we're
the
making."
detail on this is just unbelievable because I watched like levels of TikTokers in the watch world and the dealer world in New York City and like London and stuff. And so it's always funny to see this because there's like the ground level people, which is like the storefronts you can walk into and anybody can go. And then you have the upper office sections that he's in. Then you have higher ups that are like real top tier and their offices are like pristine, what you would think is a corporate office, which is... It's just perfect.
Can I interrupt the Hot Pocket real quick? And since we just brought up Man Trap, I want to talk about that Man Trap for a second. I love the symbolism of that thing, and it's also called like an airlock or an access control vestibule. It's also called like a sally port, by the way.
Ooh.
Don't know why it's called that.
All one words, all across.
Sally port's 2 word.
Okay.
But anyway, I felt like that because I kept coming back to, and I remember that's what I remembered from watching this movie from a long time ago. I just remembered this little like glass airlock in a jewelry store. That was like what I remembered from the movie 5 years on. And for some reason it sticks out. And I think they really highlight it. And there's a lot of action around that. There's a lot of different people that get stuck in it. There's a lot of finagling that happens with it. It's kind of the constant thread throughout the movie. Like every 20 minutes, we're back in the man trap, like as we are right here.
Yep.
And I think I realized it represents a lot of things, a lot of elements in this movie.
Say it.
So it represents being trapped, right? Howard Ratner's trapped. He's trapped. He cannot get out of this addiction he has. And he feels trapped and he wants to get through to it. In the man trap, it's like you can't go forward, but you also can't go backwards. You're stuck. And we literally have the final scene in this movie. The 3 main guys get trapped and it's not the first time anyone gets trapped in it. There's multiple times people get trapped in this thing. The second thing, it represents a lack of control, right? So like you are not in control. Someone else externally has to open these doors and let you through. And I think that sort of that's kind of like the loan sharks. It's how he's chasing that opal that KG has. Someone else always has the key to his freedom.
Yeah, every point that it happens in the film in order, it slowly but surely breaks down. So the first time it works, it buzzes, the door opens, you understand how it works. Then halfway through here, you start to realize, oh, the magnet's broken. Okay, got it. Now that's going off. Now at the end, it fully blocks out. They have no idea how to fix it. The thing breaks. He's like, I'm not going to change it because Howard has the choice to put the thing back in and unlock it himself or fix it himself. He has no interest in that. He's like, I know behind that glass, he can see it. He can see his anxiety. He can see everything that's going to come crashing down on him is inside that glass box across the room while he's watching the movie.
Yes.
And like every time I watch the 3-tier act of that happening throughout this film, I'm like, Jesus, like they just thought of it all. And
Dude,
the symbolism is just so
I
deep.
didn't even put that
It's so
together.
good.
That the man trap itself
it's really
has a
smart.
3-act structure,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it gets more and more
Yeah.
broken as the
It's
movie
so good.
goes.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
smart.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
This is such
This
a good
movie just gets better and better.
It does.
Yeah, and you see, look, he's doing all the metal shaving thing, and like he's doing all these things to help fix it, and he knows there's things he can do to make it work.
Yeah.
But it's the best part is it's a glass box, so he can literally see the things coming at him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't give a shit.
I
It's
had
just
that written down.
ugh.
It's not like a metal box. It's a glass box.
Yeah.
So that sort of symbolizes like the whole time he's being pursued. They find him in the school during his daughter's play and all that. So their daughter and son's play, and that kind of represents how you can't really hide from your pursuers. He's always being pursued.
Yeah.
And they always catch up to him. He cannot hide, and that's anyone in this glass box can't hide. I think it represents a lack of trust as well. The very nature that this is here is that you don't trust anybody coming into the shop. But by default, there's no trust. You have to have the secure airlock here. And I think that you can't trust any of the characters in the movie. You can't trust KG. You can't trust Damani. Is that his name? Damani. Yep. He can't trust his wife. You can't trust Julia. Can't trust The Weeknd. You can't trust anybody in this movie. You can't trust the main character. So.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have is it's kind of like the one Gris said, but it's a little bit different. It's always broken, right? It's this man trap that never quite works as it's supposed to, and that represents how nothing in his life goes how it's supposed to. So love the man trap. That's why I think that's probably the most realistic renaming of this movie, the man trap.
Nice. Yeah, trust is actually kind of an interesting theme in this movie, and I'll throw out another theme that we didn't actually bring up that I want to talk about a little bit, and that is selfishness. I think there was a scene that really, and I also want this to kind of transition this into this character and rooting for this character and rooting for such kind of a negative character.
Yes.
And we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but I want to talk more about that.
One of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, so I think the scene that really nicely summarizes Howard's selfishness is when he first gets the gem. And the Yussie guy is like desperately trying to talk to him like, man, things are fucked up right now. He's like making a really emotional plea. He's like, I'm about to leave. I'm about to quit. This has gone too far. And it just going
He's not
in
even listening
one
to
ear
him.
and out the other. And he is literally, just utterly mesmerized by this gem on like a sexual level.
Yeah.
Right?
He's
Which is
locked
kind of
in.
funny.
I'm going to come.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's one of the pieces of dialogue I had. He said, I'm gonna fucking
And you know
holy
what's
shit,
funny?
I'm gonna come.
He also his gambling addiction kind of has that sexual level too. When he wins that big bet, remember that?
He's not
In the back
happy.
of
It's
the-
He's
just
not happy.
pure-
He's relieved.
Yes,
Yeah, it's just pure euphoria.
It
Yeah,
really
he's like,
is. It's interesting
Yeah.
how those kind of that is addiction.
It's less
kind
of a yes, and it's more of a.
It's just the built
Yeah.
up tension and then the release. It's just
Yep. It's interesting
call
how that works. But so anyway, but let's talk a little bit more about that, guys. So I think I've got a little bit of a different take on this. I honestly wasn't rooting for this guy much at all in this movie. I maybe was a little bit, but I honestly didn't really care. And I thought he was such an asshole. I didn't care what happened to him, but I was loving the ride. I didn't need to root for him, honestly. And I do think though, the natural inclination is still to root for him, even though he's so bad. But because he's such a shithead, I just could not get there. He's such a bad guy.
This might be the only movie I've ever seen where I was actively rooting against him, but I did not dislike him.
Yeah, that's
I was rooting
interesting way to
against him
put it.
because
Yeah.
I wanted him to hit rock bottom and fix his life.
And you think he does at one point.
That's
and
the thing.
yeah,
that's why that
the
scene's so
toughest
powerful.
part.
When he breaks
Yeah.
down and you're like, finally.
If that movie
this is
did
the
not
arc.
have that, it wouldn't have had as much staying power for
Agreed.
me to want to root for him just a tiny bit, to be like, all right, just find somewhere a stable point in your life to get there.
It was that scene. That scene is one of the reasons that this is up in the upper echelon of movies for sure.
I'll throw out just one little thing here. I should have brought this up and flipped the script, but one thing I didn't like actually about this movie that was such a major plot point that felt a little forced was when he loaned out the stone right after he got it. I was like, come on. I mean, they did a really good job of putting the pressure on him.
There was a lot of pressure though.
I got that, but
and
at
he was
the same time,
but he was a Celtics fan though.
I get all
No,
that.
he
but
did it
was-
for leverage, which
get
I thought was
that,
awesome.
I get that, but it was so obvious that was going to be the or a big
That's
problem.
true. It was obvious. Yeah.
Like that was
Well, he did it,
clearly
like,
going to
yeah.
come back and bite him in the ass.
So he knew he couldn't get any money out of that gym before the auction. He knew that was already locked
Right.
in. So he loaned it out, got money for the ring, and then immediately was able to use the ring. He knew how to leverage.
Can I tell you
all
how
that.
much I loved when he just went and pawned that ring
Oh,
immediately?
immediately.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Just
He
straight
knew
downstairs to
exactly
pawn it.
where to go. And
Brilliant.
they're like, you want to trade in the Knicks ring? You love that Knicks ring.
Yeah. Good. So what a gambling addict would do.
Seriously,
This is what they would do.
An item that's like untradeable all of a sudden becomes liquidated because of a bigger thing.
So
kinda
and
sad.
you know what he also says? This is a verbatim quote from him in that scene right when he pawns the ring. I just thought this was an interesting. It seemed like a little throwaway line, but I was like, that no way. Sandler goes, good pace. This is great. So I was just like, it's just.
I didn't catch that. Mm-hmm. He said good pace.
He said
this
good,
is great.
He said good pace. This is
Interesting.
Great. Yeah, and it almost didn't even make that much sense within the scene. It was almost like he just kind of threw it, and I was like, yeah, you're complimenting the pace of the movie. I feel like. What else we got in this deep hot pocket? Yeah.
So, we're at the dinner. We're at the holiday dinner here, and only now do you realize that this guy who fucking assaulted
shark.
him,
Yeah.
the loan shark, and threw him in the trunk, is like his brother-in-law at a family gathering. And I love the fact that the movie does not force feed you that. And that's one of the things I loved about this movie is that guys, is there any exposition in this movie? I think there's zero exposition.
Very little
in this movie. And I think it serves the movie well. Like, it took me a long time to figure out who Damani was. Like, who's this guy? What's he doing? We talked about this earlier when Gris was explaining that this type of character. You don't get that right away. You're just in a slice of life and you're experiencing it and you're learning as you go. And I think the characters do a really good job at revealing who they are and what they're about through their actions.
And that makes this movie feel really real.
It makes it feel so real.
Yes.
And I just wanted to call out the fact that when Arno is and they're at this dinner for like a couple of scenes and you don't even see him yet. They block the table and they block the dinner without showing him for a little while. And then all of a sudden there's like a little bit of an over the shoulder from Howard and you see him and you're like, "Oh shit, they're family." Like that's what's crazy about this. So anyway, great
in
world
the
building.
car when they're doing this whole thing, when he's like beating him up and like saying take his watch and all that kind of stuff. He keeps saying his name and he keeps saying, don't say my name.
Yeah,
don't say my
He's
name.
saying Arno, don't say my name.
So clearly they were familiar, but they didn't feed you like how familiar they were to each other.
Yeah, there's so much in this movie to chew up that you just are distracted by having to learn exposition.
Gris,
anyway.
speaking of that scene and speaking of chewing up, let's talk about that bite, guys.
A bite?
What?
Remember Howard bites the guy?
He bites him. He bites him in the car. In the car.
It shows gigantic tooth imprints in the guy's fucking arm. Did you guys miss that?
Ben, where were you at with the crickets on that?
Come on. I mean, it's not a
We'll
lot
put
of
it in
movies.
after.
No,
It'll be the
are
only
you
part
guys-
that just drops and is silent
Listen,
for 6
Like,
seconds.
not a lot of movies people bite other people.
Nick, that's all of our bads. You're so right. Now,
We were literally talking about that scene also.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
guys.
I
Shit.
apologize for myself.
Thank you to our sponsor, Old Elk.
The old
Jeez.
elk Penelope did it to me. Here, listen, that was a really great, and it was interesting because I was thinking that whole time.
And he's talking about chewing?
I
Guys,
know.
come on.
Well, I think you
I teed it up, but I didn't even
set it up
know.
really cleverly to where we were all thinking like it was going to be like a Hot Pockets joke.
Yeah.
And then it was like, anyway,
That's
yes,
fucking Hot
he
Pocket.
bites the guy, and the guy doesn't retaliate. You're thinking the guy's going to kill him,
Right.
And the guy's
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
kind of allowed to retaliate.
Yeah,
He
right.
Kind of leaves him go a little bit. It's a little bit weird.
Because think about that's actually like that's like the most savage thing you can do to another human.
Yeah.
Is bite
or kicking the
another
balls,
human.
either one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, I just want to throw out, we talked a little bit about what a selfish asshole this guy is, and also about the details in this movie. I want to combine those two into one thought. This is one tiny little detail that I guarantee was intentional that just goes to show what a great fucking movie this is. So when right after he wins the bet and he's in the cab with the cab driver and they're kind of going back and forth and he's telling him what a great night he's having. And he asks the cab driver his name, right? And the cab driver says his name is Dallas. And then Howard keeps calling him Davis.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
He's such a piece of shit.
Tiny little thing.
Interesting.
But he doesn't give a fuck what this guy's name is.
Or what he's saying.
Yeah, or
nothing.
what he's saying.
No.
He doesn't care at all. All he cares about is that bet.
Dude, you're right. The details.
It's just
You're
like-
hitting me with the details.
Yeah, it's the post nut mind. Yeah, it's just he doesn't care. He got his win, and
So, guys, here's just a great. I thought this was just a great shot. Remember the fight between Howard and his girlfriend out on the street in front of the cab, right? And he finally gets her to fuck off, and the walk of shame she takes.
It's a long
It's a
dolly
long
shot.
tracking shot,
Yeah.
just of her face and kind of how and you don't see the people she's talking shit to or responding to.
Yeah,
but you
there's a
see
long.
what-
She gets to the end and she's like, "Shut the fuck!" Like there's these people that are
He's
just like
that's why
talking
you're in line in
shit
the
to her.
cold, you stupid bitch.
Really good
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah, it's really good, and
Yeah.
I love that they just stuck with her for that long on that really
'Cause I was wondering, like,
charged moment.
I thought maybe she was going to start crying. I was like, "How is it? Like this is a really great scene," and then all of a sudden she's talking shit.
yeah, it just was so charged, and once again, it carried the energy really well.
Great scene.
Great scene. Guys, best Adam Sandler comedy. Let's give us your number one. Give us your, and I guess I will start with I can't not say Happy Gilmore.
It's Happy Gilmore.
It's got to be Happy Gilmore. Grizz, you're getting a look there.
As a lifelong golfer, I got to go with Happy Gilmore.
Is it just the best one? It's just because there are other contenders.
Have our cycles aligned? Are we all three?
I've
just
been on a
Happy
golf
Gilmore?
course since the age of
Something.
like 5. So yeah, I'd say it's got to be Happy Gilmore. Ben, bring us home.
I'm gonna say
Don't say Billy Madison.
50
Please
First
don't
Dates.
say Billy Madison. Actually, that's a good movie.
That is a good
it is a good movie. No, it's Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
okay. We gotta
yeah.
force them.
I really love Billy Madison, but
I feel like
Happy
most
Gilmore
people.
is just
I feel like
so
Billy
fun.
Madison is like the most the answer that most people give, and it always pains me because I feel like
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore is the superior movie.
It has
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore has so much more heart and just like love in it than Billy Madison. It just is I don't know. It's just
And
way
just,
different.
like Shooter
Apollo
McGavin.
Creed with the wooden
Yeah,
hand.
sure.
You know, like R.I.P. You know, Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Is it No Love for Little Nicky?
No love for Bob Barker in there.
No.
I
mean,
no, yeah, Bob Barker, great. But no,
he
no
has
love for
he has
Price is
probably
Wrong,
the best
bitch.
comedies of all time, though. Like-
yeah, I mean, he's got a few good ones. I don't know if I'd say that. That might be a bit of a stretch, but he's got some good
Who
ones.
has better comedies?
I mean, there's some Mel Brooks movies.
Tom
that are
Hanks,
better. Some Jim Carrey
Mel
movies
Brooks.
that are better.
Mel Brooks, yeah.
Now this is going to be a completely separate episode, correct? Because so many of his movies fall directly in line with our
Oh yeah.
filmography or our film
yeah, that's
critic
true.
Yeah.
We
audience.
actually have a lot
That
of
is
Adam
true, yeah.
Sandler movies on our list.
Yeah,
opposite of this film.
Right.
Yeah,
They're
right,
not
right.
all 91s.
They're not all 91s.
or,
That's correct.
or 9.1s or whatever. Yeah.
You're right. Mel Brooks is better.
yeah. But point stands. Though,
But
there's-
point-
he made some
yeah,
good
but he
fucking
made some
comedies.
good
He
movies.
really did. He made
Yeah.
some really great comedies.
Took us 8 minutes, but we gave you an answer to a very simple question.
Yeah. I feel like we're living up to the segment.
Yep,
right
Hot
now.
We
Pocket.
did it.
Yes, this is Critical Mess. That's right.
Did you just reference your monitor to see what podcast you were
it's,
hosting?
you know, thank you to our sponsor. So yeah, this is Critical Mess. We're talking about Uncut Gems. And here's another detail that I thought was just, actually, I'm not even sure I would call this a detail, but a nice turn, an unexpected turn. I love when he gets the colonoscopy results and they're good.
I know, right?
That is a really smart, because like, of course they're just going to pile on. Of course he's got fucking cancer.
No, this movie
or
it
something.
always gives it like he wins parlays and he gets good results.
Yeah,
It's like
you're right.
The movie
It gets
keeps
part
you
of the up
going
and down.
It
It
does.
does. But you just I just assumed that was, especially because the movie opened with that.
Yeah.
I think because you were going to like, okay, this is going to be a big deal. Like it's literally the first people you see. Well, no, sorry. There's that kind of opening sequence. But the first kind of time you see Adam Sandler is when he's getting this colonoscopy. So you just kind of figure
Yeah.
that's going to play in a bigger way. Like, he's going to be
I think it's
sick or...
very intentional though, because it's false hope. Knowing the result of
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
It's false hope. It's like, oh good, I don't have cancer. But
Keep on
Yeah,
running.
it's-
doesn't mean you're gonna live.
It's always
So
it's these little kernels of like, this is a hope.
maybe
Yeah,
everything is gonna
maybe
be okay.
he's gonna turn it around, like all the way to the end where he's like, I'm gonna hit this bet and it's all gonna be good.
Well, yeah,
And then-
let's talk about this one. The false wins.
It's
right?
the eternal
There's a
question.
lot of them.
It's the eternal question of maybe I don't need to change. Because
Right.
we all
Yeah,
did-
yeah,
we all
'cause I
deal with
just
that.
won.
Maybe I
Right.
don't need to change. Maybe I am okay. And
Right.
it's like
right.
that's a deep question.
There are a lot of really good false wins in this
Yeah.
movie. You know, another really good one is you know,
When he thinks he wins the bet that Arno cancels.
yes, really good
Yes.
one.
Yeah, and that was really good storytelling because he slowly realizes that he cancels it in the car when he's getting like assaulted, and he's like,
Yep.
you stop
You're right.
that bet." Like
He's like he can't
thinks he
believe.
wins.
Incredulous. He can't believe it.
Yeah, and even Arno probably at that point is like, "Damn it! Like
Yeah.
he won the thing. Why did I stop it?" You know.
But that's so brilliant.
Yeah,
the way
so
they,
brilliant.
They screw him like that. I think you know Garnett. You know, buying the stone was another false win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, he got this windfall. It's just when he needed, and actually, it's exactly
then
well, you know what
he
happens.
won.
it was perfect because he got paid immediately
And how-
after the
how
auction.
Fucking smart was that? That was my favorite. That was my favorite turn in the whole movie. is when he got paid all that money and he decides to go put it all in a huge bet.
Yeah.
That was
parlay of all in the
great.
NBA.
And
Fuck.
Did you guys love how he made it happen? He's like literally like about to die. He's got these guys getting killed.
Yes.
And instead he's figuring out a way to get Julia to go out and around
Yes.
to the neighbors, and he hands the bag out the window to her. That's amazing.
True addict. He books her a blade. I
Yeah.
love that
Books
line.
her a
Blade,
And
yeah,
I love,
yeah,
how
yeah.
I love how she's in it. Like they've been up and
Yeah.
down. He's thrown a smoothie in her face and like he's disowned her and talked shit to her. And now she's still ready to like be there for him, and she comes through for him. It's a weird, tumultuous relationship they have there.
But let's not forget, she put the bet in. She won the bet. Not, he didn't win it.
But it was his money though.
That was such an addict move. It was such a gambler move. It's
It
like,
was
oh my gosh, I got this pile of cash. I got to gamble
Last
it all
shot, gotta go.
immediately.
Yeah,
Put it
any
all
way I
on
can.
red.
And can I say, I thought that was it's so perfect and so degenerate the way that the bet so he had this parlay, right? It was, I forget, was it like a 4-way parlay or I think it was like a 4-way.
Can we talk about a parlay and what that is?
Yeah, let's
Yes, right.
explain
Yeah,
a
yeah,
parlay.
yeah.
I'm
I
sure
think
there's a lot of people that do not know what a parlay
good
is.
point,
Yeah.
Ben. So a parlay is basically when you have a string of bets that all need to hit in order to win. So you kind of exponentially build up the amount of money you're going to win because you've got to have all these things go right. And if you miss one thing in the parlay, you win nothing.
And that's what makes it so hard to hit.
The odds continuously go up. You're trying to connect them all together.
Cumulative, yeah.
Right, and you can parlay whatever you want. So he's parlaying all this wacky, like these prop bets, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought that was so, because once again, this
what
is
is a prop
exactly
bet?
what so a prop bet would be a bet on like something, I don't know if I can define this exactly, but something
Small
sort of
or trivial.
unorthodox,
Yeah.
not like the score,
Like who-
or
like
the
who gets the
over
tip?
under.
Who gets the tip?
Right, so who gets the tip is part of the parlay bet, and another like a prop bet would be like such and such scores so many points, like
Yeah,
that would
Or
be the
he would score
rebounds or
odd or
yeah,
even
or
numbered bets.
exactly, or
Yeah.
odd, exactly.
Yeah.
You can bet on fucking anything. All that
Yeah.
goofy shit. That's a prop bet.
Yeah.
So basically, his parlay all hinged on Kevin Garnett winning the opening tip of the game.
Yeah.
If he does not win the tip, the
All of
whole
it falls
fucking bet,
apart.
100 and however much you bet, 150 grand or whatever it was, all gone. If he just loses the tip, that's it. How fucking degenerate is that?
That's 50-50.
It's 50-50 basically.
And
Literally
remember
a coin
that
toss.
scene? He was so like every leg of the parlay, every piece that put together, he responded as if he had won the whole thing. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's it, I got it." Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, "Oh shit, he won!" But it's like he's like, "I won the whole thing." Okay, now all he's got to do is get one more rebound. I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, did you win or didn't you?"
Yeah, right.
When are you done? That's
Never,
what I wanted to ask him in
yeah.
this movie. When are you done?
Never once in my life have I made a parlay bet, but I just watch my degenerate neighbors and friends make these parlays after parlays like just to wait to hit that bet. I'm like, why? What? Like the odds are so fucking far against
addicting,
you.
man.
Why?
I can see.
It
I
makes
can,
no
I-
sense to me.
I can see
That's
the appeal.
that's what makes this character so likable, or like so you want to root for him.
Yeah.
But
He's
just keeps
relatable.
making such
But
a
he keeps
bad
kicking
decision
you in the junk.
Yeah.
Right. Over and over again.
all the time.
Yeah.
Ah,
So let's talk a little bit about the climax, because here's another thing that I thought was just brilliant in this movie. The climax of this movie, you're just watching a basketball game. That's literally all you're doing.
Yeah.
You're just
Which-
watching a basketball game.
Which I'm in for.
I'm in for it too, but it's like when you're at a feature film, you kind of expect more, but you don't
Sure.
need more here. I mean, it's a perfect climax, and I've never felt so tense during a basketball game.
Oh, man.
Even a real basketball
Even
game. you know?
freaking Pacers Heat,
Yeah.
like
the tension. This is max.
I
Like
was
my
gonna say,
heart was pounding during that game last night when I'm watching this.
This was the most like exhilarating basketball game I've ever watched. Is in
Totally.
Uncut Gems.
Absolutely, and it's just so smart
Because
the
you got
way
these guys
they
sitting
do
in the
that.
man trap, and they're just like getting ready to who knows what.
So I think we got to talk a little. I mean, obviously we just talked about the climax. I think we need to talk about how this movie ends, and I absolutely love the ending of this movie, and I think that the way that it tied. I love how spoiler, old boy gets shot in the cranium
Right in the
at
face.
the end.
yeah. Well,
By a
cheekbone?
guy named I think his name is Phil. I think that guy's name is Phil.
I had no idea what his name was.
But I love at the start of one of the very first scenes of this film, that Phil guy, he's a debt collector, right? And he's coming to get Arno's money. And he tells him in that first scene, he's like, I'm going to bury you.
I'm going to bury you. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to shovel the
calls
dirt
it
on
out.
you. Yeah. And he tells it, and he does. He delivers on that promise.
Yep.
And I love how it comes full circle. And he actually does that. And it's not an empty threat.
And you can tell when he's making those threats throughout the movie, like he means it.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like you're like
that guy was great.
There's no way
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
alleviate this guy. Arno, he's family. You can see a world where he sort of forgives him, or he sort of like relents.
Sure.
You don't see a world in which this guy, what's his name? What'd you say his name?
I think his
was?
name is Phil. I
Phil.
think his name
you don't
is
see,
It is Phil.
You don't see a
Yeah.
world in which Phil
Confirmed.
is like, yeah, sure, you're fine, you're good.
Yeah.
You see a world where he's like a madman and he's going to kill everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's
right.
what happens.
And I love how
Against
he just,
Arno's
and he
wishes.
just executes Arno too.
Yeah.
I'm like he's such a
that
fucking
was
lunatic.
that was crazy.
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 I had forgotten
loved
about
how that twist. I
Yeah.
love that twist. I just thought this movie ended so strong. And I have to say, maybe I'm kind of a sick bastard, but I kind of love it when the protagonist just gets killed at the end. That usually works out well for me from a critical perspective.
Can we talk about other movies where the protagonist gets killed? Have we talked about this before? Do you have an example of like
Man on Fire.
Man on Fire.
Yeah, that's where we talked about it.
The one that always comes to me is The Departed. I mean, to me that's like kind of the most
Oh, like
shocking.
a shocking one?
Yeah.
That's more shocking than
It
this.
is more shocking
It's
than
more
this,
shocking
but
than
it's a
this.
similar
It's
level.
actually I'm going to put them equal.
It's
those are the two movies where the person getting shot in the head is the most shocking.
I think
I don't know.
Here's the difference.
I felt like that movie was built up to do more weird, like crazy things to happen. This one was, I felt shocking. This felt like, oh
Yeah, but
shit,
here's
that's
the
just-
di- I see-
But he won the freaking unwinnable parlay.
yeah, but you
And
think that's going to be the
he's-
end. You think that's going to be, oh, he finally did it. Like maybe he'll learn a lesson or maybe
Right.
not or whatever.
I didn't. I thought that guy fucking was just gonna come. I thought that guy was crazy and he was gonna kill. Like it just seemed like he was. Like
I didn't.
I didn't think he was just gonna
I'm
come out and
not
be like
gonna lie,
everything's
man.
fine. He locked him in this box. They're sweating there like animals. Of course he's gonna come out. He's at least gonna beat the shit out of
I
him.
thought he would beat the shit out of
That's
him,
what I thought.
and he would be like, "I'll take the beating, but you're going to get your money." That's
Yeah,
I
that
gotta
was
be
plausible.
honest. That's
It
what I
was
thought
plausible.
was
He
gonna
wasn't gonna
happen.
necessarily kill him,
Yeah.
but it was
Right.
plausible he was gonna fuck him up.
He
at
just
least.
walked right out and shot him in the cheek, and he's
Yeah,
dead.
I just
Crazy.
Boy, I thought that was really just a brilliant ending.
It was perfect.
Yes,
perfect.
Yes,
And the way it ends, and then we go back inside his body, the way we started
I know.
the movie.
Oh man, love
Yeah.
it.
My
Straight
goodness.
through the eye?
Right-
Or no,
no,
bullet
right through
hole.
the
Bullet
bullet
hole.
hole.
Right
bullet
through the
hole.
bullet hole,
Yeah.
and then we get back to the gym, and then we go out into
To the universe.
space.
Yeah, beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful.
Beautiful. And I mean, what is that even saying? I guess it's just that we're all stardust, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day.
And
You
it's
know?
like this whole movie dwells upon like this dingy, dirty diamond district with all these dirty characters, but yet it has that sort of sequence at the beginning and especially the end where it like really takes you out into this like beautiful, artistic thing.
And once again, how smart. Yeah, that's a really great observation. Like you're really enclosed in this very specific
Yeah.
environment for the whole movie, except for like the first
Takes you
minute
out.
or two and the last minute or two. And
It's brilliant filmmaking.
it is. It's really, really
Yeah,
smart.
back to my theme of just like the value of life and greed, and just those two things, like just showing the value of life, how tiny the specular thing is, that he's like deep down we're all the same pieces and all those things, and then you just have this powerful greed behind this one human.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's crazy how many different things can be in the same movie.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to say this is actually not the highest score I've given, but this is objectively the best movie we've talked about
Yeah,
by
I
kind of
think
a
so.
lot, I think.
Can I give one reason maybe why that is?
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to say form and function, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you sacrifice one for the other. And a lot of movies do sacrifice one for the other. And you can still be good if you have one over the other, right?
Totally.
This movie is one of the few movies that I feel like has beautiful form and beautiful function. And the way I'll say that is it has a compelling story and an insane vibe to it. We sort of talked about this when we talked about the three pillars of like production, performance, and story. And I would say this movie, you could remove either one of the two and it would still be a good movie. You could take the vibe away, the great filmmaking away, and have just the story and performance and it's like, yep, that's a good movie. Or you could take the performance and story away and just have the vibe and the top quality movie making of it, and it would still be a good movie. So like, holy shit, that's got to be exponential if both of those are like on point. I
That's
think
a
that's
great
why it's
word. I
good.
think that's a word we haven't used yet, but the vibe of this
Vibe.
movie is so strong,
Vibey.
and so consistent, and so perfect.
Which Good Time had a vibe as well.
Yeah.
I feel
Totally.
like the Safdie brothers have a
Yeah.
have a
I've
vibe.
yet
They
to
have a thing
see
for
Good
vibe.
Time. I got to add it to the list.
Yeah, it's good. It's not as good as this, but like it
I've
doesn't.
heard too many good things.
I don't
not
even want to
see
say
it.
that because it's like I don't even want to compare them. They're both different movies, and Robert Pattinson, like that's where you realize, oh shit, he's great.
Another thing I think about this movie is it will be good in 30 years.
Agreed.
Oh,
You know
yes.
what I mean?
It's timeless.
Like this.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I could watch in 30 years and be like, oh yeah, this movie still fucks. You know, like
100%.
I watched Godfather this past week, and I'm like, movie is incredible,
Timeless.
Yeah.
timeless. Like I like there wasn't a scene in there where I was like, oh, this took me out of it, or like it was 100% still good
Yeah.
from when they shot it back in whenever.
And I know I have a small sample set, but even 5 years later, I enjoyed it better the second time than I did the first time.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I,
did too.
absolutely enjoy this way more the second time. I
Really?
watched this.
So
Yeah.
we're all in agreement.
Is it fair to
Absolutely.
say this movie is a classic?
I it's almost like
5 years in?
This and Parasite are like the two newest movies that I'm prepared to say are classics.
Yeah.
Would you add it to your top 100?
I think so.
guys-
It is in my
After
top
this
250.
discussion.
I would put it in my top 250 unquestionably.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to crack my 100, but it is in 250 for sure.
It's I said this to Nick earlier today. It's just outside of my top 100. I will revisit.
Damn.
I will revisit.
Yeah, this was on the brink because I went through a ton of movies and I have a lot that landed in the 80, 90 range, and then I finally I had to pick movies, and this finally.
What's
is-
wild to me is that you rated it a 96,
Yeah.
and it's not in your top 100.
So my top 100 are made up of my Letterboxd movies that I've rated a 5-star out of 5.
yeah,
Which represents a
All
perfect-
100 or
perfect
5 out of
score.
5?
Nope.
Oh.
I got up to there was maybe 60
Oh,
some
okay.
that I have 5 stars.
Oh,
And then I sorted by my 4.5s out of 5.
That's a lot of movies at a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Well,
Holy
I've,
shit.
I've got
That's way more than I would have guessed.
1,600 on there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, my next 40. So this is just outside on the 4.5s, and it might inch its way in. But the reason I'm going to say it is because I'm realizing now that I respect this movie more than I think I respect some of the movies in my top 100. I'm not saying it's gonna crack it, but I respect the movie very highly. So. All right,
You guys got any more Hot Pockets?
I mean, the last big thing I want to talk about is Howard himself, is Adam Sandler as Howard. I know we've talked about him, but I kind of have a few things I want to say about him. That's the last thing I've got. So
Yeah.
and let's talk about that now. I'm going to say there's a lot of reasons why I think he should have been nominated. There's a lot of reasons why the character was written really well, just regardless of who played him.
Can I ask real quick? Did this movie get nominated for any awards?
I don't know.
At all.
it did not.
That is
Wow.
just fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
okay.
His accent. Let's just start with his accent. Like he's got this accent that's just like subtle,
Yeah.
really good.
Convincing.
I said he's kind of like a puppy. He's easy. He's kind of scatterbrained, right? Like so he's at the he just got beat up and thrown in a trunk, right? At the school play. Then he like works his way out, gets his wife's mad at him, he comes in there, and then like his daughter is in that scene where like the gold is coming out of her mouth, like the thing, and he's like genuinely like, whoa. Like he's like into this play. It's like he's all over the place, and that's an interesting nuance about him.
Is it fair to say he thinks he's a lot better person than he actually is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, a reason why that is because like he's treating his wife this way, and he's got this chick on the side. But then when the chick on the side tries to get with a weekend, he's fucking pissed and doesn't forgive her, and it's like you're a hypocrite, you know.
Right.
But he doesn't think he is.
total hypocrite. Yeah, totally.
I have he's bipolar. He's up and down. You know, he's so pissed about that opal when he has to drive to Philly. Remember with Dimony or Damani, and then he gets to Philly and they're in that weird like basketball practice area, and he like goes off and like steals the ball and like dribbles and does a layup, and he's laughing and stuff, and then he's trying to get in, and it's like what's he thinking? What's he doing? Like he's very bipolar. He's not.
He's impulsive. He's very impulsive.
Yeah. He's really intense. Like his anger just keeps escalating throughout the movie. It's like he's saying a sentence and then his voice does that like rage thing, and that's where I was kind of the Gilbert Gottfried thing. Like he kind of sounds like Gilbert Gottfried a little bit, but he's just like raging like as this movie goes. That's hard acting.
Can you
that's really
imagine
hard to
living
do.
a life like this?
No, I can't.
It's
No.
like, oh my God.
No one can. I have he also like he's interesting because he wants to be better. This scene right here is such a good scene. We're watching the scene where he's breaking down to Julia, his girl on the side or whatever, or I guess it's his main girl, and he's saying he wants to be better. He's crying, she's crying. There's this whole breakdown scene. He wants to be better. Like he's not just like some like dumb it like I'm in this life for it. Like he understands that he's not a good person, and he understands that he's got a problem. I also have he's desperate, right? So like he thinks he can fix things. He's always talking. He's always using his words to these mob guys. He thinks he can use his words to make up for stuff. And finally, like we've talked about this before, he's the most likable bad person I've ever seen in a movie, which is crazy.
Yeah, he always that's second to last point. Like he always feels like he's going to be able to regain control, but he never does.
Yeah,
right?
He's always trying to talk his way out.
There's like this false sense of security that he gives himself, but it's always wrong. Yeah.
I would say all those things make up this Howard character that is so well written and so well executed both, and goddamn that elevates
and
the movie.
I think that this character has unbelievable depth, especially given the incredibly short time frame we get to spend with them. Right? It's just a few days, really.
Oh, that's
right?
true. It just takes place over a couple days.
And yet the amount of depth we get out of this character is kind of unbelievable. Yeah, it's a career performance. It will almost certainly be the best movie this man has ever made. I would be shocked if Adam Sandler makes a better movie than this ever.
How could anyone? I mean, even just the physical acting. In the car, he's getting choked and like beat up and stuff. It's like if he's doing that. That's intense stuff.
Yeah. Well, guys, as Ben said, this movie fucks. Right?
This movie fucks for sure.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to do like final thoughts?
Yeah. We'll do some closing thoughts here. I'll get us started. Man, I really think this is a great movie. I think this movie is almost shockingly good in a lot of ways. And as we've sat here and talked about it and dissected it over the last couple of hours, I almost think it's even better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think this movie, as Ben said, I think this movie 30 years from now, 50 years from now will be respected and watched. And I think this is just a movie that needs probably, I mean, I think it got some love and some attention. I think people generally know about this movie, but there should have been more. This movie should have gotten more love, more mainstream love. And so much of it rides on the fact that the main actor, the main character is very much subverting expectations for what he normally does. And that hurt this movie ultimately. And I hate that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this movie was just absolutely beautiful, I think is the only word I can think of. It's just like there's so many layers to it. Everything we talked about tonight just digs deeper and deeper and deeper. The visual, the emotional cue, like everything about it is just unbelievable. And I still hold strong. I would raise my score, but I have to hold strong with 88 just for the fact that I just wish there were just a few more redeeming character traits in just anybody in the film, just so you had somebody that was, you could root for. But oh man, this movie is just, it's so good.
Yeah, my one comment I'll make in closing thoughts here is I watch this movie and I feel sorry for other movies. And I watch other movies and I go, you guys, if you just made a fucking movie that you want to make, and not a studio movie and not a movie that to please the masses, but a genuine piece of artistry, this is that movie. This is the movie that is made with no compromises, with vision, and it just holds up, man. This is what happens, and we saw those movies that this was compared to. We saw the movies that this was rated better than by the top critics, the professionals. We saw the masterpieces, Godfather. All these amazing movies. This movie's rated higher than, and when you're up in this echelon, the only way you get there is when you make an uncompromising piece of art, and that's what happened here.
Yeah, well said. And I want to just pile on one more thing there. I read that the Safdie brothers are like totally obsessed with basketball and are like huge Knicks fans. And
Really?
You could totally see the passion for the sport that came through. Like what the climax is watching a basketball game.
Wait, they're Knicks fans?
I believe it was Knicks fans. Yeah, I believe I saw
Fuck it,
that
I
on
take
Reddit.
back everything I said
Yeah,
about this
I
fucking
know.
movie.
We
'Cause
gotta
the Knicks
think-
beat the Pacers last night. Fuck you, Safdie brothers. I hate this movie 1 out of 100.
Well, anyway, that notwithstanding, it's just interesting how, when you, I guess the point being, if you make a movie about something you're really passionate about, that comes through.
It comes through.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
it came through here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, also like they're basketball fans and Adam Sandler is famously a basketball player.
Yeah, another good
Yeah,
point.
throwing
So you
himself
have
out of
synergy
pickup
there.
games.
Yeah, totally.
And so to write a movie specifically for Adam Sandler, and then on top of that, make it about basketball, I think there is no missing in that.
That's how you get
Yeah.
Adam Sandler to buy into the movie. Too.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Bought in.
the perfect casting. I cannot tell you another human on this earth that would be
No.
good in that role.
You cannot
Not a single
recast that man
absolutely.
right
No.
there.
No chance.
Honestly, can we just say the casting was perfect across the board?
Unbelievable.
Like, was there anybody I think everyone was perfect, basically.
His Idina Menzel was great.
Yeah.
Totally.
All the his dad.
I love
the
how
dad
just
was
every
great.
character just built on the next, and you're like, dude, who the fuck is this guy? Like the penthouse rich guy that they had at the casino, like that flew him across in the blade.
Yeah, Wayne or whatever the guy.
And it's
with
just
the,
like
the,
then
we didn't
you
even
have
talk
like
about him.
Then you
Yeah,
have the
right.
twins. Well, we did a little bit, but like then you have the twins that come out and they're asking for their money they
Yeah.
need or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like these
Yeah.
the cat. You're like looking at these characters. You're like,
It's like
dude, I
everyone's
want to know that
perfect.
guy's background.
Yeah, right. You
Even
want
the
more.
kids,
You
even
want
his
more.
kids, they were just barely in it enough to be like, okay, you've built the world, but I don't have to focus on you. Thank, perfect.
Yep.
I love that his kid won the search in their dinner.
Oh yeah. They were all in the
That's
room
my
smoking
boy.
stogies.
Yeah, he's like, that's my boy. Like that's
We're not going to
that's
help you. That's
like-
my boy.
That's a little win that
Yeah,
like
a
their
little
family
false
win,
win,
and
yeah.
you're like, yeah, it runs in the family.
Yeah, nice, nice.
You know,
It runs in the family. That poor son.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh God, he has to find out what happens the next day. Oh no.
Yeah, incredible movie, incredible depth. Yeah, this is a classic, guys. I think we can just say it. This is a classic. Watch the movie. Do yourself a favor. Watch this movie. Watch it again.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Basically, if you've heard this, if you've listened to, if you're in the Hot Pocket with us for some reason, and you've not watched the movie, nor will you watch the movie, God, write in to me and tell me what your deal is. Like,
Yeah, no
where
kidding.
are you at in your life? I'm curious to know about you.
Yeah, where can we get what you're smoking? Because we need it.
If you're this vibing with us for no reason, God damn, I love you.
All right.
Well-
let's plug some socials.
On that note, yeah, let's talk about that. We are on something called social media, and Gris, where's that happening?
Well, we are on Instagram. So the best place to find images and photos and quotes and things that we say on this podcast is on Instagram at Critical Mess Crew. Find us, leave a comment, let us know.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment on Spotify. Leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. We would love it. We'll read it. We'll talk
It
about
helps push us up the ladder of driving more traffic
Heck
to
yeah,
this.
man. Hook
podcast.
us up. We'll read your review. We just proved with Blow that we will read your feedback.
We will do
and
it.
we will take it seriously, and we will abbreviate
Honestly,
whatever segment you want us to
Yeah,
abbreviate.
you control the show.
You control it.
Just tell us what to do, and we'll do it. It's that simple.
We're shells.
We are just husks of men.
Listen,
Thanks, old elk.
And thank you, dear listener, because you're fucking awesome if you made it this far in the episode, and we love you. And we're gonna do another one. We always threaten to do more episodes, and we do. We do.
and we're going to give you a little something new.
We're gonna give you something new.
a little something
Yeah, apparently
new.
we're gonna talk about a movie called Anyone But You, and I don't know what the fuck that is.
Little rom-com.
No idea what it is, but I'm excited. I've heard it's
It's a
maybe-
movie.
It's a movie. I've heard it's a movie.
Critical
Heard it's
Mess
a
Crew.
movie.
We'll talk about a
Here's
rom-com.
what I've heard. I've heard it's a critical mess. Is what I've heard.
It is a critical mess.
So I think it fits this show nicely. So we're going to talk about Anyone But You on our next episode, and we very much look forward to it. So thank you again, everyone, for listening. We had a lot of fun on this one, and we hope you'll keep listening next time. See you guys.
See ya.
Later.